Box Live. We are live on YouTube, youtube.com/BuyBoxLive. The website is buyboxlive.com. That was good sales talk. Yeah. So, I just asked a question, right? Here's a question. It used to be an old, I don't know if it was a commercial, but if you were to call the phone number back before the days of the internet, or the internet was as robust as it is today, you wanted to go see a movie, you could call up Movie Phone, and it would say, "Hello and welcome to Movie Phone. If you know the name of the movie you'd like to see, press 1." And so as it was going through that, it would say, "Okay, cool, you pressed 1. Um, if you'd like a list of movies, press 2," or whatever. And then you give it the location, say, "Okay, these movies are playing in the movie theater." And then it would give you the list, and then it would say, "Make your selection at any time." Yep. Back in the old days. But all right, today's live. So yesterday's live, if you happen to go back to the show on YouTube, I went ahead and created a nice little video for it. But on Movie Phone, all commercials. That was the Movie Phone thing. But on our live yesterday, I spoke with Francisco. He has got a retail buyer, and that retail buyer is living in a property now, wants to sell it, wants to move. And we're like, instead of selling this property and getting the $80,000 to $100,000 that you're hoping to get, and then turning around and taking all of that money and giving it to a bank as a down payment on your next property, how about we just find you that property? How about we just find you that second property and allow you to buy that property? Here are the details. Allow you to buy that property creatively. So if she happens to, let's say, put down $10,000 as opposed to 80 or 100,000, right? She doesn't have to re-qualify for a loan at a bank. Doesn't have to pay a ton of money to that bank for the privilege of moving, basically laterally. So that's the goal right now. We are looking for a property for Francisco and his buyer. And you can help me by looking for a property using whatever tools you want to use. You've seen the tools that I use. And right now in Phoenix, it is not exactly the end of the day, so I have a little bit of time. And my goal is to make a couple calls, review a few properties, make some calls, and see if we can find a creative deal for our buyer. Now, here's the task. If you are able to do the same thing, maybe use the tools that you have at your disposal, go to these zip codes, for example, 85301, 302, 85053, etc., and you're able to find a property in Phoenix or Glendale, Arizona, then get it on the contract for some kind of creative deal. Hopefully less than 20K, less than 30 potentially, but definitely less than 80K or something crazy, less than 50K. Let's find a property for this end buyer. The general cost we're looking for is about $400,000. The goal was, hey, find a property for $400,000, sell mine, and hopefully get 80K out of it, and then use that 80K as a down payment. So to me, it made a lot of sense. 20% down, lateral move, but in that process, it's like, wait, what are you doing? You're basically doing the same thing. Situation is they owe $360K and owe $250K. No, they listed it for $360. They owe $250K at 4.4%, which is an awesome rate. So if we can keep that rate, great. If she was to go and get a loan right now, what she has to deal with? She's gonna have, buy a property for 400K, put 80K down, and still have a rate of, I don't know, 7%, 8%, 7.5%, some crazy number, it's just going to be bad all around. So let's help. Let's help. Can you help this edition of BuyBots Live? That's our goal. All right. So with that, we are live. Sojo's got a question, but Sojo didn't raise his hand, and Sojo's not asking it. So I don't know what to tell you. What you got a question? Wait, ask the question. What do you want? What do you want me to do over here? In the meantime, we will go and see if we can find this property for you. So let's see. That's the one thing. I'm gonna come over here.
Done.
Okay, Sojo, you're now on stage. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, the question is about the pre-foreclosures. How do I pitch for pre-foreclosures, and how do I help them?
You're basically doing the same thing. It's pre-foreclosure, meaning that, oh no, they're not paying their mortgage. If they don't pay their mortgage, they're gonna go into foreclosure, which basically means the bank is gonna want their, want the money or want the property so they can sell the property to someone else who can keep paying them over time. They want money, money, money. Banks. Banks. So anyway,
Okay.
it means they have a loan, right? And they're not paying the mortgage. So, we're helping them in many cases. We are helping them by purchasing the property. If they can keep the property in place, they've got a good loan, existing loan. We can help them in that way where they don't have to sell the property, as well as, they themselves don't have to go into foreclosure and potentially, end up with bad credit or something like that. Okay. So I'll quickly run through this example so that you can see how this works. Okay, Sergio?
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
generally speaking, this is just an example. Obviously, these numbers can be different, but let's say the homeowner has a property for 100K. They have they have it listed for 100K. They don't really need a whole lot more. They just want to sell it for 100K. Okay, but they have a loan on there for 96K. Well, after paying the realtor fee and closing costs of about 2%, they end up having to pay about $1,000 to sell this property, which is really bad for them. Hey, I'm trying to sell my property? Why do I have to pay $1,000? Or worst case is they can't sell the property. Nobody wants to buy it at that point, and the bank comes along and they have to go into foreclosure. So this is your pre-foreclosure scenario. Generally speaking, the way that subject to typically works is someone comes along and says, hey, I will buy the property, and the realtor still gets paid their, $3,000. We will pay closing costs for you, so you save $1,000, and that's it, right? That's the scenario. We're gonna buy this property. We're gonna keep the mortgage in place. It's still gonna be 96K. We're just gonna keep paying it every month. I know you missed some payments, but that's, we'll deal with that. Okay. So that's really the offer to them.
Okay.
That's the offer. So, you can, I can, I don't know, I guess I can share this particular slide, these two slides and show, but this is generally speaking what you're doing. You're having this conversation with them. Hey, can we just, buy your property over time? We'll pay the mortgage and we're going to help you. That's the way we help. So that's the typical way. Now I take it a step further. I say subject to is a tool, and what matters is the person using it. The way that I do subject to is if you brought me a property, this same property for 100,000, instead of losing $1,000 or saving $1,000, I want them to get that amount as equity. So that's what I would want. And then as a consequence, I'm getting some feedback here. Can you mute yourself, please?
Yes. Sure.
And then unmute when you're ready to ask another question. But basically my goal is you're about to sell this property. You're about to either pay $1,000 or maybe save $1,000, and other people will come along and be like, hey, you don't have to go into foreclosure. You just saved $1,000. You should be happy. And then they walk away, with getting this property basically for free. Okay. But me, I'm like, yeah, I'm a little bit nicer than that. I want them to keep some money. So they get to keep their equity. The agent, I would love to pay them their equity over time as well. I'm like, you know what? Hey, can you just joint venture with me as well? So you're going to get, instead of your 3,000, you're going to get that in equity. Everybody gets equity. If there's a wholesaler, I don't really want to pay them, especially on a 100K house. I don't want to pay them too much. So either 3K or 5K or something, depending on how good the deal is that they bring to me. But let's say it's 3K, right? Then they also get equity. So everybody gets equity except for me and my team. We're buying this property, so we're going to put cash into this deal. Right? That 4% for the owner turns out to be, because it's 4,000, that's going to be 20% of the total that we have now going in. I'm putting in 10K, which means if they're putting in 4K and the agent is also 4K in value, the agent is, contributing 3K in value, the wholesalers contributing 3K in value. That basically comes out to 50% for us because we're paying cash, 15% for the people getting 3K equity, and 20% for the people getting 4K equity, right? Which is the owner. That's basically how that works. Now, why is that important? Well, we keep those values. Over time, we keep those values. And when we go to exit, hopefully at 2x, when the property value goes up to 120, the loan hopefully goes down to 80K. Well, not hopefully, but we're paying it, right? So it's definitely going to be going down. But it's going to be going down. So now we have a spread of $40,000. And if we can sell this property at 120, right, however long that takes, it might take 5 years, might be 7, whatever that number is, then, the result is we now have $40,000 that we can divvy up. I guess it would be a little bit more than that because, yeah, there might be closing costs and stuff like that. But guess what? If the seller wants to buy this property, a sweet deal, and they want to cover closing costs, cool. We still have 40K to work with, right? So this 40K now gets split up among all the people involved. So this would be the owner. Now, instead of losing 1,000 or saving 1,000, they actually get 8,000 cash. The agent, instead of getting 3K, they get 6K cash. The wholesaler, who's now a team member, instead of getting the 3K, they doubled that as well. Pretty much everybody doubled their money, except the other people didn't put any money in. So they're basically getting all of that as cash. So yeah, that's how I like to do it. Subject to is a tool. What matters is who's using it. This is the way I like to use it. Now, of course, it means I'm giving money away, but it also means that my entry fee was a lot lower. These are not guaranteed numbers. Let me say that. I have to always say it. These are not guaranteed. This is just a target. Of course, the ideal exit is actually 4x, which means everybody gets even more money. Okay, now, other questions? You can unmute Sergio and feel free to ask. Or let me know if I've answered your question fully enough, Sergio. All right, ladies and gentlemen, taking the assumption that Sergio fell asleep while I was doing my awesome explanation, I'm going to go ahead and get back to the other stuff I was with. So this one is in Phoenix, Arizona. I think I said I liked it. Did I make a note? Oh, wait. Oh, I'm muted, so it's not me. Sergio is taking a call. All good. I think double check is financing. Cool. Let's make the call. Ooh. So what am I doing now? I just used the Wholesale Atlas to find properties in Phoenix, Arizona. The other thing I guess I should say is take a look. These addresses. Phoenix, perfect. I looked at this property, price cut, awesome deal. I might have already called this property as well, but I do want to show, generally speaking. So for the people in the audience, this is Phoenix, Arizona. Whatever tool you're using, this is obviously Zillow. We are looking for, this is mainly Phoenix, we are looking for, remove the boundary, and I'm going to draw a new map. You're looking for anything in the. All right. I'm going to have to redo this because I'm an engineer. I know I don't have a pen, but still, I've got to do a better job than that. Come on. Nope, got to draw. We are looking. There we go. Anything in this general area, right there. Glendale, that nice Glendale area. It's all back today, and they are very interested with this. Okay, so somebody's responding. I think that's Francisco. Feel free. Where is he? Francisco is in the audience and dropping notes. Dropping notes behind the scenes. It's gonna really annoy me if I don't do that right. There you go. Perfect. So anywhere in that general area, these nice little properties that pop up. If you find something, you make some calls, by all means, let us know. Okay, so bring up my guy. Try to speak. Interested to the deal with this. She needs an email explaining how a trust works. Send the email about an hour ago. Perfect, dude. That's good. That's good. So my man is doing the legwork. Jorge, you're now on stage. What is up, my guy? You're gonna
Hey,
have
how's
to.
it going, Clinton?
All good. Sergio's gonna have to come back. All right, what's up?
Yeah, so I'm talking to or speaking to a realtor about a potential hybrid deal, and they sent over the mortgage information. I just need like help like going through the mortgage information and putting that into Atlas to see if, the numbers will still work out.
Okay. Have you done this before?
No, I haven't got that many mortgage statements because I try to go after seller finance deals, so I'm not very uh fluent, per se when it comes to like reading mortgage statements.
Okay, awesome. Give me a second. And is this something you can share? Is
Can
it
I just send it
possible?
to you?
Yeah, you can send it to me. I'm wondering if can you like blot out like names and stuff like that and addresses maybe?
Yeah. So the address is
No,
160.
no. Hold on. I'm saying,
You want me to?
is this
I could
property
just put
is
the
this
address.
property under contract? Oh, hey, is this property
Uh,
under contract?
well, yeah, I sent a contract and they're gonna sign it. At least
Okay,
that's what the realtor said.
so because they they they're going to sign it, which means in the future they're going to sign it. They haven't signed it yet, right? It's not an
No,
executed contract,
it's not
therefore
an
it's not
executed
under
contract.
contract officially, right? And so
Yeah,
I'm
correct.
always very careful to let people know, hey, we are live on YouTube. Anybody can be watching this, okay? So I
Oh,
try not to share.
yeah, I don't trust
Rest-
YouTube.
what was that?
See, I don't trust YouTube.
Exactly.
I
So
trust the
that's the
people
thing
in
when I'm
there.
like, people are telling me adjustments. I'm like, whoa, slow down, whoa, what are you telling me? So that's why I'm saying, is it possible? Because I want to go through this mortgage statement, right, and explain what we're looking at. So I'm saying, is it possible for you to send me a version, like an image or something, with the address blotted out and the
Oh, okay, I see what you're
names
saying.
and stuff like that, deleted or blotted out or something. That's what I was asking.
I see what you're saying. All right, let me do that really quick. Just give me like 5 minutes to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just
Take your
blur
time. Let me know
something
because
out,
we're gonna
and
be
then
here. We're gonna be here a little bit, and I'm gonna make a call right now anyway. Okay.
okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'll be back in like 5. I mean, I won't be back. I'll still be on
Yeah.
stage, but let me just blur this out. Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you very much. See what we got. Oh wait, you're trying to sell a property. You're gonna pick up. Oof.
We are sorry, there is no one available to take your call. Please record your message after the tone. Press star to discard the recording, or press any digit to end the recording.
Okay. Got it. So Hello, my name is Clinton. I am calling you from Buy Box Live about the property at 6100 North 36th Avenue in Phoenix, Arizona. I have a buyer who wants to buy a property very similar to this. Location is great, the property looks awesome, and I'm hoping that this is a property we can buy. If you can give me a call at your earliest convenience, I'd appreciate it. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Goodbye.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I don't know what just happened. Guess we'll try that again. Goodbye. The more you make these calls, the more things. Eventually, things stop surprising you, but that one was kind of surprising. Guess I just haven't made enough calls yet. George and Julia. Maybe I can call Julia. That's gonna keep ringing. I'll try this next one. Try this next one. In the meantime, what is up? J-Rod is in the house. Trish, I know that I've started seeing you recently. I don't know how long you've been here, but thanks so much for stopping by. Let me know if you've got questions. As you can see, I know I'm trying to do some things, but at the same time, this is a community. I am always available to help the community, even if that means I'm slowing myself down, cutting myself off, all that sort of stuff. So don't even worry about it. Sumit is in the house. Sharon K. Always a pleasure.
Hi, this is Julia Morales with my home group. I am unable to come to the phone right now.
That's a different number, different name.
I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Clinton. I am calling from Buy Box Live about the property at 6100 North 36th Avenue. I'd love to purchase this property. If you can give me a call at your convenience, I'd appreciate it. Thanks very much and have a great day. All right, another great message left. Not too much said. I always say I want to buy the property because literally I don't want to sell any property to someone if I don't want to buy it. It's like they say, right? If you've got a product and you're trying to sell it and you really believe in the product, it makes it really easy to sell. If you don't believe in the product, it makes it really hard to sell. That's how I do this wholesaling. If it's a property I really want, I really believe in, yeah, it's a yes. This property, just based on the pictures I already see on my grid view, this property looks good, fixed, potentially flip. See, 3 bedrooms. I'm looking for 3 2s. This is a 3-2. This is technically 0 loans. Maybe it's got a hard money loan, which you wouldn't know, but the property looks good. And it's a 3-2. Inside looks good. So yeah, I'd love to sell this property. Buy this property, sell this property, same. And by the way, if my guy Francisco does happen to find somebody else, a different buyer who says yes before we are able to do it, that's okay, because literally I'm calling properties that I want to buy. And if they can give me a really good deal, one that would be worthy of the end buyer that my goal that I'm talking about, then yeah, all the better. Property under contract. And in that process, obviously, you all can see me, making these calls, you can see exactly how easy it is to do. So my guy just sent me an image.
All right, I sent it to you. I think I blurred out everything. Hopefully I didn't miss anything.
Oh boy.
If not, my deal's getting stolen.
Yeah, it's always funny to me when like if it was me, I would you wouldn't be able to see anything. You wouldn't be able to tell that there's a T and a Y in that address. and there's a D at the front, and there's either a P or an R or something like that. It's literally,
Right.
you wouldn't be able to tell that this looks like Shell Point Mortgage Servicing. Like, what kind of job did you do blotting this out, dude?
Do I have to blur out the mortgage servicing company too, you think?
Well, the next thing I see is it has, like, I see a lot of numbers on here. You know what? I'll just do it myself. Don't even worry about it. I will do it,
Okay.
and you'll see when I do share
I
screen.
just blurred out the address of the address. I mean, the address of the
It's
address of the property.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You and everyone else. I'll get the part of this that matters. Put it that way.
Okay. Okay,
I'll
thank
get the
you.
part of this that matters, because there's stuff that you blurted out, but it still has a person's name on here and stuff like that. So don't ever worry about it.
Okay.
Version. Go with this. All good, all good. And yep, stop that. Account number is listed. Dude, it's all good. So yeah, if you all give me a moment, to do my thing. This is sort of what I do. I'm a very big picture kind of person, but when it comes to stuff like this, I am very detail oriented. So I know it's like weird, but that's my superpower, I think. One of my superpowers. Let's go to screenshot. It's out of there. Great. In the meantime, what is up, everybody? How are you doing, Jorge? How is life in Chicago? So crazy.
Good. Sunny right now.
It is sunny in Chicago, and because it is August, it is not -5 degrees. Is that fair to say?
It is actually 80 degrees over here.
Nice. Very nice.
Pretty nice weather.
Chicago gets very cold in the winter.
Yes, it does, and it gets very hot in the summer. It's supposed to be very hot this weekend.
Wow. No, I think this. Oh, I can do it. Go here.
And then, are you going to use the underwriting tool?
Yeah.
On Wholesale Atlas to underwrite this?
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Place. Why not? Oh, what's that? Things going on. Close this. Auto. That's not. Oh wait, it should open my desk. My apologies. All right. So tell me what's going on in the chat. What are the people in the chat telling you? You're on mute, Jorge, if you're responding. Again. Here, I need to go. Exchange. Cut it from here. Desktop. Here. Spending a lot of time working on this because I think it's going to be important to go through it. So my apologies to everybody waiting patiently, I might add. When I say patiently, one way to request it. Okay, so Jorge had some time, but it's all good. I'll do it myself. Delete that. Here. That. Account number. Delete that. Address and phone number. Done. Okay, everything else good. Good. Big. Delete. All right. Yeah, I think we can work with this. We are going to move this. Now I'm going to export this card, check. And we're going to paste this back, cut. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you know what? I think I will put it here so that I can use it again. Streaming content. Streaming content. Okay, are you all ready to see my handiwork that I had to do because my buddy here is unable to do it? I'm gonna go.
A jab at me?
Hey, it doesn't count, man, because you were muted, so didn't hear anything said about you. Open Firefox. Open it in the right place. Yep.
Oh wow! There you go. Look at that.
Nice and clean. Now, I dare you to tell me where this particular property is located. I dare you to tell me who the owner is, or what servicing company they're using, or what the account number is. Any of that stuff. I dare you. Find it somewhere, somehow. Can't. So yeah, hopefully this is more useful to everyone. All right?
Thank you.
So these are the things I'm looking at when I'm looking at the mortgage statement. Top right, next due date. First thing, right? Not necessarily the first thing or even the most important thing, but it does show that this is a very recent mortgage statement. Amount due, $1,358. Okay, great. Now I look down from there, and how is that broken down? Well, my principal is very, very tiny, as you know. My interest is a whole lot more than that. But escrow, which includes taxes and insurance, is not very high. Wherever this property is located, literally right now, I'm not even looking at an address. I'm just looking at the mortgage statement. So these are the few things that popped out at me. And then I continue down, and it shows this is why, if you're going to subject to any property, you really, really need the mortgage statement, not a mortgage payoff or balance statement, which you would get from the bank. The bank will say, oh, well, if you send me $51,000, then yeah, that's great. But no, I need to know, are there arrears, right? You're telling me I'm going to be paying, in this case, $1,358 a month, potentially less than that because there's some fees and charges involved for this particular payment.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it is not, the PITI on this is not $1,358. Okay, that total amount due, it includes the overdue payment.
Right.
Okay, so that's what I'm looking at here. Is there's an overdue payment. I haven't paid the mortgage in a few months. Okay, cool. Current escrow balance is the next thing that pops out at me on the left-hand side. That basically says, hey, there's some money there. So if remember the taxes and insurance. If the, I need this. I need this. Do I have this? I have it in here. Here, I'm gonna go to this one. Not gonna do it now. Not gonna do it now. Where is it? Nope, I don't see it. Click compass. Give me a second, folks. I'm looking for something. I'm gonna need this in the future. And I don't see it. Oh, man. All right. Going back. For right now, here's the thing. I'm giving away a secret right now, so pay close attention. And because it took me a while to find what I was looking for, I'm not finding it. But here's the thing I'm looking at. The escrow balance is over $600, but the total fees and charges, or the total taxes and insurance, is 1113. So as of right now, there's enough money in the escrow that if those taxes and insurance come along and they need to be paid, right, that's money going towards it. Whatever that, every 6 months, you generally speaking is when they take that money out, and whatever money is in escrow and pay the current amount that's due on the taxes and potentially the insurance. So at some point, that money is going to go towards escrow. And so when I continue looking down, it says, well, the escrow that was paid for the year is $434.78. And interest was paid, et cetera, et cetera. So it looks like there's enough money here that they can at least pay the escrow costs when those come along. All right. The next time I look at this particular example, because when I've gone ahead and saved it, I will say everything I just said a whole lot more smoothly. But my point is that this mortgage, it looks like a good mortgage in my view, and the outstanding principal is under 50 or under 52,000. So it doesn't really matter too much that the interest rate is over 8.6%. Now, I would be curious, they got this particular mortgage at 8, almost 9%. I'd be curious if this was taken out very recently, like in the past 6 months or something, because wow, when were the rates this high? Do you know?
No, I don't.
Okay. That is wow. And then the next question that comes to my mind says maturity date is 2053. So subtract 30 years from that, that would be October 1st, 2023. Wow. But this is the thing, right? Sometimes you go into a bank and for whatever reason you get a good rate, and for other reasons you get a bad rate, even though this was potentially taken out in 2023.
Yeah, yeah, she did say it was 2 years ago. I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. I guess when you've been doing this enough, these things just pop out at you like, oh yeah, okay, 2023. All right. So deferred interest. There's deferred interest. There's deferred principal. Okay. So in general, looking at this, to me, it looks like a really good deal for us to pick up, right? It's not too expensive. The PITI monthly, generally speaking, once you've paid off the arrears, is not too expensive. Let's assume it goes back to a regular monthly payment, which is shown on here of $500. If we can get anywhere above, let's say, $800 per month in a mortgage, I mean, in a as a renter, right, in rental income, then we should be able to service this loan and just keep it on the back burner, and then eventually pay off the mortgage and buy the house outright or whatever. Okay.
Right.
Past payments break down 2,000.
The rent goes for 1,100, and then the Section 8 rent is 1,300.
Yeah. So for those reasons, this looks like a deal. It looks like a deal that I might even want to buy. But just based on the mortgage statement, right? So I haven't even put any of this information into the Atlas yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm very annoyed that I don't have my tools, but it's all good. The reason for this is I'm usually very, very busy, and I'm trying to do multiple things at once, and preparing to make this an awesome live show takes effort. And I've got a full-time gig, and I do stuff in the Atlas, and I try to do some dispo here and there, and I do like a million other things. I've got multiple websites. Anyway, I'm giving excuses, but the point is that I don't have all the things, and it's not perfect. But guess what? If I can do it and it's not perfect, then guess what? You can do it too. So I'm going to use another trickety trick. Instead of searching for a property address that Jorge is going to give me, I can just use this thing called the underwriting tool in the wholesaleatlas.com. Okay, it's right there. If you go to Wholesale Atlas, I guess you sign up somehow and you log in somehow, you should see this link. It says template. Or you can go to the wholesaleatlas.com/template. All right, and you get access to this calculator. So immediately I know it's a subject to.
It's a hybrid.
Well, all right, let's be fair. You said hybrid, so I'll go with what you said. What's the difference between a subject to and a hybrid? You tell me.
Hybrid has the elements of seller finance and subject to in the deal, and then subject to is just taking over the mortgage.
Right. Okay. And why would it have the elements of?
Well, it would have the element of seller finance because we're trying to pay off the equity.
Okay.
Right.
And why would you pay off the equity?
So.
All right, I'll answer it. I know.
I don't know the answer to that. I was going to try to
give
my best guess.
So it's literally shown right here, very simple, right? Any kind of deal, they want cash up front. They don't want, they just want cash. Forget about it. They don't care about the mortgage, nothing. They want cash. Okay, that's a cash deal. Okay, right here. Subject to, the conditions are, if they've got, let's say they've got a mortgage of, I'll use my example from before. Is it right here? They've got a mortgage of $100,000, and they've got a mortgage of $96K, and they're trying to sell it. Right, the list price that they currently have is $100K. That basically means they have got 4% in equity. That's basically all it is, right? They've got a mortgage of $96K. They're trying to sell it, right? Not that it's going to actually sell for $100K. It might sell for $110, or it might sell for $98 or whatever it actually sells for. But right now, they're trying to sell it for that number. Well, based on how much they're trying to sell it for, their perceived equity is just subtract the mortgage from that, and that's going to say in this case 4%. So that's where that number comes from. Nice and easy. Okay. So with that idea, in their head, they're already thinking, well, either they've got negative equity because they're selling it for less than the mortgage, they've got a little bit of equity because they're selling it for a little bit more than the mortgage, or they're trying to sell it for, let's say, I don't know, twice the mortgage, and they've got a ton of equity. That's where that comes in. So seller financing is if it's got 100% equity. I know I'm teaching instead of making calls, but it's all good. I know I'm going to lose audience members because they already know it's all good. Good. This is important for some people. So, because, if it's got no mortgage at all, then that's seller finance. So it's either subject to or it's seller finance. And if it's got a huge equity, just like seller finance, then, like say half and half, then yeah, that's where, that's why it's a spectrum. Hybrid is just in the middle. So when you tell me, oh, no, it's not seller fi, it's only hybrid. Oh, you're basically telling me the same thing. It's just that for hybrid, they expect to make a bunch of money. But we'll start there. Okay, we'll start there. I'm not going to put in my address, my zip code or anything like that. I already know it's in Chicago because my guy, his buy box, if he had a buy box, would be no place other than Chicago. But
no, it's actually not in Chicago.
It's not in Chicago. Uh-oh. Yeah. Okay. And it's in Illinois. And if you tell me it's other than that, then I'm going to kick you off stage.
No, it's not in Illinois. It's not in Illinois.
All right. Am I going to kick him off stage? I don't know. He's fun to talk to, so I guess I won't. But it's all good. But this guy,
I changed states because I didn't want to complicate it with the whole wholesaling regulations that they have there. So
that's a fair statement. It's a very smart thing to do.
I moved over to Alabama.
You went to Alabama. All right. So I don't think the zip code really matters in this case. The number of beds, technically, for this calculation, it doesn't really matter because all we need is math, and the beds and those types of things don't really matter too much. So they could technically remove this from this calculator,
You were
but
so
it might just be
close.
more complex to do that. What's important, we already have that information. Between the taxes and the insurance, we already have that from our mortgage statement. Okay, we already have that there. So based
113.
on this, I've got between the two, I've got 113. So I'm going to also
Divided by 2.
not necessarily, just make sure that the total comes up to that, but don't do that. Don't do that. Want to make next step. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I suppose we can divide it by 2, or I can just say, let's assume property taxes are $13 and insurance is 100, something,
There
right?
you go.
Um,
That's way.
nice and easy, right? Because it's gonna come out to a total. Guess what? Of 13. 113, right? Or now we've done this, I can say, oh well, I can cut this in half and make that 50, and then put my 50 over here and make that 63. But yeah, again, it doesn't matter. It's not that important.
Right.
Right now, this is showing red. Wow, you're paying the buyer and it's red. You're losing money. Well, that's because it doesn't have any estimate for my income as yet.
Rental income.
Okay. So now what you would do is, I suppose you can put a list price, right? We can, again, I'm just going to guess, right? You can put the exact numbers if you want, but I'm just going to guess.
Yeah.
They have offer price, got a list price. We have estimate. I'm going to jump to my loan balance part. I'm going to say my loan amount was somewhere around. Doesn't have to be perfect. But again, the numbers I'm getting are coming from this screenshot. Maybe I should actually just use it since I'm doing it here.
Mm.
All right, so outstanding principal 51342. I would literally come in here and say balance is 51342. Right, something like that. Amount, I don't know that it's important, but I generally estimate that, yeah, let's say they got this for 53,000.
So
Okay.
close.
So very close. It was a few years ago, right? So,
52.
and you know what? The amount going down is, I'm going to make that 52 because it's only going down a little bit per month. And then I'm going to say my interest rate here, that I'm also going to get from here, right? Interest rate, according to this, is 8.625. Come back in here. Interest rate, 8.625. And come on. All right, so according to this, my payment is $400. That's going to be on my mortgage. So let's go back here. And
18.
right here, interest is 368 plus 35. Really close to that number. Right? Am I wrong? So let me go back and I can just double check and I'll quickly pull up a calculator. 35 plus, or I'm going to make it 36 plus 6. Nice and easy, 104. Perfect. So pretty much on point in terms of the monthly mortgage payment. Some of it's going to go towards interest. Some of it is going to go towards my principal, not much. Okay, and then the equity number, no idea what that is yet, but we're going to say, well, they've got it listed for, we're going to say, let's say this is a hybrid. So this is where that thing comes in, right? It's a hybrid, so I'm going to say they've got it listed for 100,000, right? Which tells me that the equity is, let's say, 50%. Now, again, you could put in the exact number that they have this property listed for. That's nice and easy to look up. Notice it says my entry fee is infinite because it's dividing by 0. It's dividing some numbers in here by 0, okay? Cash on cash, etc. But we'll fix that shortly. I have to set some rent values. You already told me the current rent is something like, I don't remember.
1150.
You said 1150 or something. I was going to say 1100, but all good. And then you said Section 8 is like
1300.
13, whatever that number. So these numbers, again, not too important.
Okay.
because up here is where we select. We either select the Section 8 number or the normal rent number, right? So
Right.
I can always just keep it on normal and just use normal. It doesn't really matter. It's just in the app itself, in the website, it typically gives you the Section 8 number, and sometimes it also figures out a rent estimate for you as well. So that's why these are here. But again, they kept it simple. They didn't just delete a bunch of options. They just kept mostly what you will find in the calculator. Okay, so now here comes the important part. Well, everything's important, but other important numbers. If there's a rehab cost, two things you can think of. If the property needs some cosmetic work, we'll say rehab is going to be $3,000. Okay. If it needs a lot more than that, we'll say, okay, $5,000. Because this is subject to, right? I'm really the kind of buyer that's buying this is not going to want to pay a huge amount of money. So I'm not going to do this personally as the potential buyer for this and other potential buyers. If it's over 10K in rehab, you would probably move on to the next property. Okay.
Yeah, no, this property is pretty nice. It's basically turnkey.
Okay. Basically turnkey, which means that our number, instead of being 3,000, might actually be 2,000, because you always want to clean up a few things,
Of course.
make things nicer, etc. So we'll say 2,000. Now, the other thing I'll add is if it's got enough rooms, if it's large enough and you think you can add rooms to it, then I also put that in rehab costs. I'd say, oh, you know what? If I can add a room to it, then I'm going to put that on the rehab costs and, add some rooms to it so that I can, do like co-living. Okay. So another secret, ladies and gentlemen, if you watch my show, you get secrets all through the show. Now, here's the big thing. Okay. Now, as you can see, we've got our entry fee here is still infinite. Is that because it's dividing this by 0? Okay, my offer price. You too. Bless you.
Thank you.
There we go. That's why. So it was dividing. It's got my offer price here. I didn't have an offer price. So generally speaking, this is going to be subject to. So typically, you want your offer price to be exactly what the loan amount is. But again, this is a calculator. You can put in whatever information you want.
You want me to just give you the number that I put in the contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 70. I put 79,900.
Okay, 79. And what was the list price?
The list price was 79,900 as well. I just offer that because that was a default that hybrid that Atlas gave me when I clicked on the hybrid. And so I just went with that offer price.
Yeah, that's fine. Keep in mind that the reason for that is it's like, hey, you all have a mortgage in place. I don't want to, I don't want to pay a huge amount more than that. You're already not paying the mortgage. So I'm not going to pay you even more when I need to pay arrears, go back and pay back some of the mortgage, etc. Okay.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to go back up here and just double check. This is my normal side, and that's I like to be more conservative. So even the estimated rent here, I'm like, you know what if we just need somebody in there? We're just going to take the first person. We're going to offer them a low mortgage amount, whatever. So I even dropped that number a little bit. Even if they currently have a renter in there, who knows? They might leave and I might need to replace them. So I sort of be a little more conservative in that way. And here's the question now. Did you offer them a down payment?
Yes, I did. I just went with, again, the 5% of the price. So that was a 3,995. That was just the lowest that Atlas had in there. So I just went with that.
Okay. So what this ends up doing, this has a default. I always put the closing cost at 2%. And this is basically saying at 5% down payment, 2,000 rehab, let's just drop that a little bit. Your assignment fee, I think that's the big key here. So I'm going to say, you don't mind taking less, especially if I buy this property. You better not mind.
Of course. I don't mind.
So this is generally speaking what we've just accomplished, right? If we like, to your point, in the wholesale atlas, you brought up the property, you clicked on search, you entered the address, and it brought up a bunch of this information automatically. We just filled it in manually.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Now, because it is a hybrid, you're basically saying, hey, I guess, you want to get, in this case, what was the equity? So, yeah. So you've got equity of 35, 35%. I should actually give a number. But it's basically 80K minus 52K, something like that. No, minus, 52K. So they've got about $30,000 that they expect to get. And you're like, hey, I know you want $30,000. I'm not going to give you $30,000. Like if I gave you a down payment now, you already gave the down payment stuff. Moving around, down payment right there. If you gave them a down payment of 34K, right, and they keep everything in place, I suppose some people might do this, but it means that I would have been paying for this property, almost half of the value, and I'm getting less than 10% back by the end of the year. So for me, I'm out. For that reason, I'm out. Okay, but if they're okay with the offer I gave them, which was 4,000, or you gave them, right, 4,000, then I can work the numbers. I can go ahead and give them some money over time. I can go ahead and give them money monthly.
Yeah. So what I put in there was I think it was 200.
Okay, perfect. So you decided this is your offer you gave them. I'm going to give you $200 and all these other things here, blah, 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 which means our cash on cash is just under 17%. I would potentially pay just under $12,000, and I would potentially get back just under $2,000 by the end of the year, because I gave you $5,000. So, all right. So here's I literally manually walked through this process, starting with the mortgage statement, putting all the numbers in where they needed to go. And now my question to you is, what did I miss? What questions do you have?
I don't know why I'm getting a different cash on cash return.
How different?
Just a 20%. I got 20% cash on cash return.
Okay. So.
Oh yeah, no, you know why? No, never mind. Because I didn't switch up the taxes and insurance. I didn't correct that. So. And you put everything from the mortgage statement. So what you have is accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously these numbers, quote cash and cash. Why is it this number? People have asked this question before. You're not the first. Why is my entry fee different than yours? Trust me, these are all numbers. That's why it's math. It's all numbers. It shows the reason. It says, hey, my total entry cost is just, in this case, I just changed let's say somehow I can get my closing cost down to 1%. Okay, cool. Then that means that my entry fee is now under $11,000, right? And then it just divides that by how much money I'm making per year, right? You take the monthly amount to the buyer, which is just over $160, just over $160 at $162. You multiply that by 12, and that's how much you have by the end of the year, right? These other things are like, okay, blah, 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 down payment, closing costs, assignment fees, etc.
You know what?
These numbers add up to be 10.
You think I could try negotiating a lower payment to the seller?
Well, here's the problem. You already gave them the offer, right?
Yeah, no, but I didn't get the mortgage statement because for some reason they were being difficult, and I said, okay, I'll give you my offer on the contract with the numbers that I gave you as a like a rough draft, because you haven't given me the mortgage statement yet. So now I could come back, and now she gave me the mortgage statement after I sent her the contract with the numbers that I had from Atlas, and so now I can come back with her and tell her, hey, I just got the mortgage And you gave me the mortgage statement, and now I think I'm gonna have to like change up payment to the seller
Yeah.
because of this and because of that. I don't know what exactly to say, but
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? You think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I think if they're watching Buy Box Live right now, they can definitely understand the scenario. Right? They were playing hardball. They didn't want to share. Okay, cool. Are we serious? We're serious. And I'm a serious buyer. I like this deal, as you know. I really like a deal where I can purchase the property for less than $20,000. I really like a deal like that. So I'm a serious buyer at buyboxlive.com. And this deal, I would say that my target cash on cash is 100%. That's my target. Like if I pay $10,000 to buy this property, by the end of the year, I want my $10,000 back so I can buy another property.
Yeah, that'd be
In
awesome.
the meantime, what am I doing for my $10,000 and getting it all back by the end of the year? I'm waiting a whole year to get my money back, right? Until that, I'm negative. What am I doing in the meantime? I'm saving them from going into foreclosure. I am potentially giving them money, like in this case, obviously this is a hybrid, so they're getting money as well. And I don't say potentially, I actually always want to make sure that the seller gets money in their pocket. I don't like the idea that they walk away with nothing, just they don't go into foreclosure. No, I have another contract I just signed, I guess last week. And the previous people, they were already under contract. The previous people gave them zero. And I was like, why? I'm literally giving them money. So, at the end of the day, the money I'm giving away, it's helping the seller. Obviously, the agent gets paid. So, they should be happy with that. That's where some of this down payment goes. And, right, so it's 5% for the down payment, which means that, they would get 3% of that. Okay, so the agent walks away, generally speaking. But remember, if we can do this together, I would love to give them even more money over time. So,
Oh, I forgot to mention, there's a balloon payment,
Yeah.
5 years. I don't know
Yeah.
if you put that in there or if you went over that.
No, I didn't put it in here, and I guess this version doesn't have that advanced feature of adding a balloon payment. I wonder if they have it
Okay.
in Simplify. Yeah, so they don't. Yeah, they do have it for
I
some.
just more so wanted to let you know, in case because you say you're a serious buyer, so I don't know if that like threw a wrench in the gears or
No,
something.
not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
5 years is a little bit tough because you got to hope that the property, increases in value, and then I can sell it, and they get, fully pay off the mortgage and stuff like that. But that's the awesome thing about a situation like this, because the property is already, the mortgage that's involved is already relatively low, even though the interest rate is really high. I would want to get rid of that interest rate. So, 5 years is actually not too bad.
Okay.
Okay. So beyond that, though, as you know, I don't know. I guess I'd have to put together an offer letter myself to show them, hey, this is how much potential money you're going to get. Like you could say, you go back to them like, hey, can I give you 100 instead, because now my numbers turn back to be, green. You could literally show them, okay, at $200, my show them this. $200, this is red because I'm losing money. I need at least more than $200. So can I give you
150.
100?
What does 150 look like?
Like, well, if you give me 150, then it's still green. Yeah, fine, whatever. But can I give you $100 now that I know? Okay, at least at $100 is green again. Okay, but I would say even beyond that, in this scenario, I guess the other thing I was saying, let's talk about the benefits that they're getting for my low entry fee. Right, less than $20,000, I get to buy a property. I'm really buying their headache. I've got to deal with a management company. I've got to deal with a location that I don't currently have any management. I've got to get a mortgage company. A management company. I've got to get inspection done. I've got to do a bunch of stuff. So I'm literally working for this money that I'm losing, really, until a year later when I finally get it back. Okay. They don't go into foreclosure, and the mortgage arrears get taken care of and all of that stuff. And potentially, if they JV with me, they get paid a whole lot more than that. So that's what I'd love to do, is to, give them this scenario. Hey, you can get this much. Yeah, I can give you $100 a month or even $150 a month or whatever. So this number is green. But you add all of those numbers together, and if you joint venture with me, and I don't have to do even the down payment, all that stuff, you get more over time. Sort of like this. You get more over time. That's basically how I roll. So my down, like as you can see here, right, I would spend even less than 20,000. So that's potentially what I would do in this scenario. But all in all, not bad. And if I don't buy it, I think this might be a good deal for someone else to buy.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. I said a lot of stuff, and we're getting to the end of the day in Phoenix. And this guy who has the power, you got the power. And this guy's got the power. All right, what are you laughing at, Mr. Guy? Welcome to stage.
Oh, I forgot the comment that I was gonna make. You said something important, but you said it so lightly. I just wanted to make a comment on that, but damn it, I forgot what I was gonna make a comment on.
Well, I guess now you're
Oh,
gonna have to go to buyboxlive.com and go to YouTube and look it up.
yeah.
Watch the whole thing again. But go ahead. What was it?
So, oh yeah, the part about subject to. So, Jorge, when you're sending out deals,
Yeah.
look at a couple of things when you're sending out deals. Don't just like copy paste from the atlas and throw it out there.
Okay.
I would recommend you to look at their equity a bit more, the way Clinton explained, which was really amazing. He actually gave you a really good idea. I don't know if you could pick it up. He explained how much equity that property has. And let's say for some reason they're behind $20,000 in back payment. Now you're paying that plus giving them $20,000 more, which makes no sense. So your total entry gets up to $40,000, where the house might be worth maybe 200, maybe 300 maximum. So then you won't be able to sell that property. But if you can negotiate and bring that down to, let's say, close to zero entry, maybe we just pay the back payment, because we're still helping them out. But
Right.
they have to help us in order to help them out. We don't have free money to give away. It's not even our money. We're getting the investors to agree to the terms that we're making. So double check the deal. Don't just copy paste it. Look up their mortgage and do some numbers with the calculator and see if whatever they're asking, if that's the true equity of that property. Because before going live, I was in a call with Clinton. A realtor called me like, "Hey man, I got a deal for you. This is the deal that works for you, and one is strategy, the one where you pay for a seller's mortgage. I got one for you." I underwrote it right away. He was asking for $80,000 more than their true equity, where they took a loan in 2024 April for $300,000. Right now they're asking for 380. I'm like, well, based on your true equity, based on the public information, if the house only appreciates about 3% a year, you guys have about like maybe maximum 10% equity, if I'm being generous. I'm willing to give you. I'll pay the closing cost. I'll pay your fee. That's the amount I'm willing to give, which is your fee is about like 3%, closing cost and everything, which comes in around like 5%. So rather than giving them $80,000, I can get into that property for maybe $10,000 to $15,000, where my buyer pool increases significantly, where I don't have to spend a lot of money to buy a property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because any software that you use, any public information, those are never going to be accurate.
Right.
So always rely on your intellect and your knowledge on what you learn so that you can use it and make a better judgment on what people are asking, because there are people who will try to rip you off, and there are realtors who are scammers as well.
Oh
I
yeah.
just got scammed like recently on one of my deals. That's why it fall off.
Oh yeah. What happened?
Uh, it- the
I mean, you don't have to
realtor
explain.
listed that property as 4-bedroom, 3
Uh-huh.
bathroom. I did the inspection. On inspection, they don't say how many bedrooms and bathroom. They just rely on MLS. My buyer was asking, because they took it off market after I got it under contract for sub 2, Atlanta, Georgia. The realtor took it off market. The buyer checked out the property on Zillow, and it showed off market 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom. So the buyer was asking, "Hey, can you call the realtor and double check if it's a 4-bedroom, 3 bathroom the way you're saying? I'm looking at online. It says 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom." I'm like, "What is this guy talking about? Just because it's off market." I even have the MLS and everything. I didn't have the MLS. When I got it under contract, I basically copy pasted everything into the atlas.com to sell my deal. Just out of curiosity, I did call him. Like, "Hey man, what's up? Uh, I have a weird question. I know we are at closing table, but is it a 4-bedroom, 3 bathroom?" He's like, "No, it's 3-bedroom, 2 bathroom." I'm like, "What happened to the extra bedroom and bathroom?" He's like, "It was never extra bedroom and bathroom. I don't know what you're talking about." I'm like, "What do you mean? Your listing said it's 4-bedroom, 3 bathroom." He's like, "No, it shouldn't say. I don't know where you're getting that from." So I got another realtor. Her name is Andrea. She's in our group. She's a realtor from Atlanta. I called her
Mhm.
up. I'm like, "Hey, Andrea, can you do me a favor and check the MLS for me?" She sent me the
Oh
MLS listings, and even that says 4-bedroom, 3 bathroom.
wow. You got caught red-handed.
I
Yeah,
called
that's
them up.
messed
I'm
up.
like, even your MLS says 4-bedroom, 3 bathroom. What the hell does that mean?" He's like, "Yeah, maybe my assistant made a mistake." Blaming it on assistants.
Of
Then I'm
course.
like, "Okay, sure. I'm still willing to do the deal, but I'm gonna need a $10,000 discount." Originally, I was planning to give you guys 15,000. Now I'm gonna ask for 10,000 discount. You guys are getting 5,000 because he tried to scam me. They're like, "The seller is not gonna do that." I'm like, "Not my problem, bro. We're under contract and we're about to close the deal where you tried to scam me." He's like, "Okay, I'll talk to the seller." I don't know what he said to the seller. The seller is like, "No, we're not selling anymore." They send me they send me I don't know what's the contract's name. Basically a cancellation contract saying that they're not interested in selling anymore.
Right.
I'm like, "Sure. There's a $30,000 memorandum. If you try to sell it, you have to pay me 30 grand in order to sell it, though. So best of luck."
Wow. Yeah, I was asking for the mortgage statement and they were just being difficult, so I just, spit out an offer
Give them a
and then I
lowball one first. See what
right.
they say. And if they try to nag or something, tell them, "Hey, I don't know. I just used the public information. Uh, I can't I can't crunch in the numbers in my calculator unless I know how much I have to pay for your mortgage. Maybe
Mm.
I have to pay like $1 million. I don't know. This is my strategy. If you guys are willing to go, this is how I'm gonna work. You don't
Yeah,
have to
maybe
give me
I
a mortgage
yeah,
statement.
maybe I'll
Give me their remaining balance, their interest rate, and their monthly payment. That's it.
yeah. I'll try to negotiate them down, see if that goes anywhere.
Yep. That's why I can't trust realtors nowadays. One of them just tried to scam me.
Damn, dude.
Oh, sorry, Clinton. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries at all. No worries at all. This is Buy Box Live. We talk pretty much all things real estate, and it's important for people to know that not everybody out there is going to be your friend, and some people are shysters. In every walk of life, you will find people who will try to scam you. A lot of people like to say, "Oh, you're calling me. You must be a scammer." Really? Is that your definition? No, a scammer is by definition someone who scams, and I'm not someone who scams. Even though I'm calling you just like a scammer would call you. No, I am literally a buyer on BuyBox Live. I am trying to buy a property that I spent some time trying to figure out if I really wanted to.
And
So,
it's so funny to me because I had a conversation with the realtor 2 days ago. I called him up, same as I do any other property. I'm like, hey, I'm an interested buyer. I think at the end of the conversation, I asked him, hey, if your sellers are open to do any seller finance, let me know. I'm interested on it. He's like, yeah, I'll figure out if the sellers are open to it. I text him the next day. Here's what he says on the conversation. He's branding me as a scammer because he thinks I'm trying to scam or something. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm an interested person trying to buy this property. So this is what he says. What's your full name, first and last? I gave him my full name, first and last. I told him we talked yesterday about your property 41. I don't want to tell the address. That's a fake name, and this is a fake number you're using. Not going to waste my time on this.
wow.
I sent him a DM with question marks, and I called him. He didn't answer my call. You do know that agents of my caliber have extensive background checking system. Your phone number is Google number and not owned by a single network like Verizon, AT&T. Your name doesn't show up anywhere else in the entire United States database, which either
Wow.
means you're not a citizen or you're not a real person or your name is not real.
Oh,
I asked him, you never saw a business number? Are you dumb? Of course, I use a Google number for myself and for my business side. How do you explain your name? How do you explain wanting to do seller finance and cash flow when you have 1.2 million cash looking at $500,000 property? Make it make sense. No worries. I'll just call the seller. That's my reply. Good luck.
yeah.
Then he texted me again. What's one address? What's one address that you can actually own in the state of Colorado to prove your identity? I never said to him I own anything in Colorado in my conversation. I have the recording. I said I have money to invest into real estate. Are you dumb? Why are you still texting? I don't need to prove anything to an idiot like you. Why do you think LLC exists? I even told him stop texting. It is my job to protect my clients and their best interests. In the fact that you're getting upset goes to show this isn't legit. You're a scammer. Most people are super willing to show proof of residency or identity when called out on this issue. Sorry, you're offended, as not my in attention. I don't know why he said attention, but we are running into scam and spam a lot. I said playing the victim card right now. Lol. Also, by the way, my clients have been notified that you'll be trying to call or you'll be trying to call them, and the intention of seller finance, no matter how you slice this cake, we would need proof of fund, identity, proof to draw of contracts. I said I don't give a f. I don't think that's the right word for it. LMAO. I just blocked him. So shouldn't this be illegal, where he is driving away interested party trying to purchase that property by playing the victim card and driving away wannabe parties who are interested in buying it by framing them as scammers? And why do I need to show my identity and everything where I'm just curious about the property, where they're the ones who's selling it? Are they the government? Are they the law? What why should I have to show him anything? Why does LLC exist? Even he uses a Google number, and he's saying your number is a Google number. So what? Who's playing guitar?
Oh, that's me.
Okay, that's
Sorry
the
about that.
that's
I
the
didn't think you
wind
guys would be able to.
that's the
I
wind
didn't
up
think you guys would
sound. They're saying, okay, get off stage. Yep, I know that. I know that tune.
I
Thank you,
was trying to
Margaret.
lighten up. I was trying to lighten up the mood, you know.
Yep, I appreciate it. I see Alex. Alex, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up? How are you doing, my man? J-Rod, I mentioned before. Tom, the boss, is in the house. And Abraham has joined us. Francisco's doing some stuff, making some calls. Jerry's the man. What is up, my guy? How are you doing?
What's up, guys? So I have a question for Ashik.
What's up, my man?
What's up, man? So as I understood, as I remember, you live in somewhere not in the States, something like me, you know, because I'm not in
Yeah.
the States too. And I wonder, how do you get paid? Because my title company. So first and foremost, we closed. I closed my first deal with
Yes. Congratulations.
Congrats, man.
with Shane and Michael. Yeah. If you remember that DC property, what I was talking about, like
I wouldn't be able
very long
to.
time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago what I was talking
We
about,
work
but
with
I
we
mean,
work with properties daily, like 5 or 6.
yeah.
So good luck remembering
So
it.
I wonder, Ashik, how do you get paid? Because I have a really fucking hard time to get paid. So everything is distributed already. From title, they just waiting on my fucking bank account number, and I don't have ITIN. I don't have EIN. I need these things to form a Mercury account, and they wouldn't pay something like Revolut, which I have in my country, or maybe PayPal, as I understood.
So I would say get an LLC. That's how you can at least get a Mercury account, because
So
with LLCs,
yeah, I did form an LLC, and to form a Mercury account, I need EIN, and I filed for that and waiting for that, and the approximate fucking was that estimated time to for me to get a EIN is November 12th, maybe latest September.
right?
So this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. I cannot. I was surviving the whole fucking time to get paid from one deal, and this is not acceptable. I'm trying to see a workaround or something like that. You know, because as I
I would
understood, Ashik,
say
do you have an LLC and EIN and you have a Mercury account?
no, I don't. Because right now I don't need it at the moment, because I have Vadush, I have all the people in the community. Let's say even if I don't have a bank account, I can just use their account and they can just transfer the money to my account in Bangladesh.
Yeah, but then they need to withhold 30% to pay your, let's say, taxes. No,
No,
how's that working?
because I can say I owe him money, or he owes me money for my service.
Yeah, but you're not a U.S. resident, and as a non-U.S. resident, you're making money in U.S. You still need to pay 30% income tax.
So, Alex, the thing about that, not financial advice or legal advice, but I will tell you that if you are making money, just like you said in the US, they are going to take taxes out. And if they say, hey, we're going to withhold tax, the taxes, etc., that's literally, it doesn't really matter because even if they gave you all the money, you'd still have to pay that tax anyway. Unless you were hoping.
Yeah.
I want all
then
the money. I'm gonna promise to
Go
pay
ahead.
you 30%, then you run away because you're not in the US. I wouldn't think that's a very sustainable strategy. So I wouldn't worry too much that they're withholding it. I think the challenge you're facing is, the time it takes for you to get an EIN number, followed by once you get the EIN number, obviously it makes it that much easier to get a bank account. And it's not just Mercury; it's any bank. They're not going to give your business, your LLC, any bank account unless you have an EIN to tie it to. So I don't know that that's the best approach to do it, but yeah, maybe the thing Ashik just said might help.
Okay, so I understood what you're saying. So the thing I have in my head, why would they withhold money? I understand. So I need a EIN, I need everything to pay taxes. If not, I just run away. Yeah, that's a great strategy. That's really hard to launder money with this strategy. That is.
They would because that's the law. They literally.
No. I didn't say. I didn't. Maybe you misunderstood. But anyways, that's a great strategy. I know for IRS, that's a really great strategy. I mean,
you used the wrong word.
Yeah, maybe. My bad. And either way, if I get the whole thing, or if I get not the whole thing, I still need to pay one of my GV partners, and I still can write off money for spendings, for everything like that, for blah 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 blah, to acquire that payment, right? And to acquire the next payments, and to
the way that works is they withhold it. It's not that they keep it, right? They withhold it. That means they're holding it in case you owe that amount. And then when you file taxes, you say, hey, I made this much money, but guess what? Half of it went to expenses, etc. So instead of me giving you 30%, I should have only give you 10%. And then what happens at that point is you get the other 20% back. So it's not they're keeping
after a fucking year. Yeah, that's stupid.
welcome
this is shitty.
Dude. Welcome.
This is stupid.
Yeah.
Welcome to USA, my friend.
That is funny. Well, welcome, dude. This is literally the challenge that pretty much anyone who has a 9 to 5, who has anything where they're getting money, This is taxes, man.
This is stupid, man. This is like unheard of in my country.
Yeah,
you better not to pay taxes in my country than to pay. Like it's fuck America.
So here's the thing, though, right? I know it's frustrating. But I will say this, right? The thing is, you have the benefit of living in your country and making calls to the United States and getting a property under contract and getting it sold and getting paid. That's a luxury. Some people don't have that luxury, So I always consider it the things that I do, literally everything I do, every job that I have, every amount of money that comes in, the government takes a cut, and I'm pissed off that the government's taking a cut, but at the same time I'm like, yeah, but you know what? If somebody's holding a gun to my head, they're supposed to, send a ship or send a plane or something to save me. That's what they're supposed to do. So at least, there's potential. It's okay. It's part of the job. It's part of so here's another way I look at it. Let's say I make $50,000 and the government wants half. Ooh, that sucks. Fine. Now I just need to make 100,000 and then the government wants half. Fine, that sucks. And I just keep doing that, right? I just keep making more and more and more and the government wants half. And eventually it's like, just part of the cost of doing business. Francisco, to your question, yes. What is the options? The options is I mean,
Get an
that's
ITIN, yeah.
that's potentially the proper way, right?
To get an ITIN, I need 8 to 11 weeks for it to form. So yeah, not working.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's the same thing. Basically, they're saying is you need to give money to the government. You just made some money, and you need to give some money to the government. Okay, but you can't give any money to the government unless there's an ID number that's attached to that. Whether it's you having it personally or the business has it personally or something. They need some way to add, not just a name, but an ID. This is literally the law. You can't get around it. So however long it takes you to do that, that's what you got to do. The business
They need to withhold 30%. Yeah.
Internationally, it's still the same. They transfer it internationally, but the person still needs to have an ID so the government knows who's getting the money and how much that person owes them.
Okay, Ashik. So you said, let's say that's a just let's say, I'm assuming, I'm not saying that it's a reality. Let's say you get paid whatever 50K, and they send money to Vidush. Vidush sends whatever 25 to you, and he don't need to. So you have a 50% cut with Vidush. He sends 25 to you. He don't need to withhold 30% of that 25.
That's a good
I would say, I mean, I could answer that, right? I would think because, obviously he's not necessarily in that scenario, in that situation himself, right? He's not the person giving the money out. But the thing is, the person doing that is still on the hook. Somebody has to pay that tax. So what he's basically doing on your behalf is, saying, hey, I made, like, literally what he's going to tell the government, right? I just made $10,000. That's basically what he's going to tell the government. Okay. Now, the fact is, half of that money went to somebody else. Even if they got 100% of that, he would be hoping, that when that person gets their money, a cut gets sent so that he can pay back the government, or that amount comes back
after a year. Yeah.
Right. So whatever that number is. So either way, my point is the government still needs to get paid. There's no way around it. Now, another thing I would say, the challenge that you have here is, and to Francisco's question, right? Get an ITN number. What happens if you have to send money internationally, et cetera, et cetera? They hold 30% back. Okay, sure. Now, the reason they're holding 30% is because you currently don't have a tax ID number. If you already had the tax ID number, they'd be like, oh yeah, we're giving money to the person with this tax ID number. They'd report that to the government and leave it into the government's hands to be like, oh, this person with this tax ID number didn't give us the money they were supposed to. We're going to send a plane,
Okay, excuse me, Clinton, you got to pay American taxes, correct? When you do your taxes.
Yeah, you literally, I have to pay taxes no matter where I go.
Whatever, I made 50,000, but that 50,000, half of it went to expenses, half of it went to this guy, or whatever, and things will get adjusted, hopefully.
I mean, I know about the write-offs, and I know about that. But if I write off basically 60% of everything I made, and then I need only to pay, instead of 30, I need to pay 7% of tax of the whole thing I got. Only then, after I paid 7%, only then I get my 23. This is the stupidest thing I ever heard. Why can't you just file once? Okay, this is stupid even to argue about, because we can change it. Okay, whatever. So, I mean, there's no need to argue about that. How do I get paid?
They withhold it from me. They withhold it from me too. It's not only you. They withhold it from me. And then at the end of the year,
it's the law. Why are they withholding it? It's the law.
I mean, yeah, we don't need to argue about that. I understood. I know that they were holding it. I know that I can write it off, and now I know that I can get back whatever is, like, not 30%. Whatever
Whatever's
is I
owed
paid
to
for
you.
taxes, yeah, whatever is owed to
Whatever.
me. So how do I get paid not in the end of the September, but now?
That I don't.
I file for EIN. EIN is getting in the maybe latest September if I file for ITIN, for which I need nothing just to file. They will create it in 9 to 11 weeks. This is still a lot. This is like 2.5 months, almost
I
3
know you're
months.
frustrated. I know you're frustrated. You want the money now. I remember you having this deal from way back and hold my hand. I remember this
Yeah,
deal.
from March.
From March.
So,
Oh,
right, but
fuck,
that sort of
man.
goes to
So
my point,
I know
Alex,
you're
right? It
frustrated.
goes to my point. I
You
will
worked
tell you
hard
that.
for it. You had communication with the realtor or agent or owner, whatever it was, and going through, one discord to another. I understand your frustration. Trust me, I understand. But you got paid. You got paid. You're in a different country. Unfortunately, this is what's done. Um, so just if you get 20%, you'll get 20%. The other portion you're going to receive, when you do your taxes.
I mean, Tom,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
that's
I
how.
understand everything, but I just cannot get paid because I don't have, for now, I don't have either ITIN or EIN because it takes 3 months to fucking file. That's
Okay,
what I'm
so
asking about.
Alex, that's my point, though. It's
You
something I
have
was
to
about to
ask
make, right?
the
Is
people that
that
are
the thing that
in
you,
foreign countries in here.
yeah, the thing is,
I wish I could help you.
like, to Tom's point, you had some time. I know it sucked, okay? But if you had done this, let's say 2 months ago, and said, I'm doing this stuff in the US, I'm gonna need a tax ID number, or I'm gonna need an EIN number, da da da. It's gonna suck, but let me go ahead and file for
Hello?
it now, right? It's basically a free request. It takes a long time. You submit for it now. It takes you 3 months to close the deal, and by the time the deal closes, you already have an EIN number or an ITN number. So
Hmm.
that potentially could have solved where you are now. I'll tell you that when I started this process, it's taken me let's say 6 months
Well,
to close my
congratulations
first deal. But
on
once
getting
I knew after that
getting it
first month,
sold.
oh, now I know what I'm doing. Yeah, this looks like it's gonna work. Literally, I filed and got Crazy House LLC. I got
Can you hear me? Does
crazyhouseguy.com. I
anybody
did
hear me?
everything right then and there. I
Yeah,
know it
we can hear
sucked
you, Tom.
paying it up front, but I
Oh,
knew
okay.
at some point I'd need to get
I
paid.
thought I was talking to myself. I do that too, you know.
Wait a
Good.
second. So, Tom, Clinton is talking every time. I don't know why you can't hear him. Maybe you need to unmute him because he was explaining every time, and you was a little bit, between our conversation. Um,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah. All good. All good. So, Clinton, I know that I would have need to do that before, and I needed to do that before. Unfortunately, for my not really great information, I never knew if you make money in the US, you need to pay taxes in the US as a non-resident.
Yep.
I never know that. So yeah,
Now you do.
that's my problem. Now I do, and I cannot do anything without it for now. I know that it would be great for me to know it 3 months ago, and now I would have EIN, and now I would have to just get paid. But for now, I don't know. So, how do I get this thing sold? I have an not advice. I have what should I call it? Idea? Yeah, idea from one of my friends. Not friends, actually, a really great guy who helped me close this deal. He's saying that I can form an LLC with somebody in the US
Yeah.
and get paid fully. Then, after my EIN forms, which is going to happen in the latest of September, as understood, because I spoke with the support girl from the website I was filing for, and she said the latest September. So when I get my EIN formed, I will be responsible for my taxes, not him. So this solves the problems with the withholding 30% for a year, or till the whatever March or April. What's the tax year in the US? And it solves the problem with withhold, and it solves the problem with me getting paid instantly. So I can just form an LLC in 1 or 2 days with somebody from US, with my friend who I trust and who trusts me. And then when my EIN forms, I'm responsible for my taxes because it's my LLC. It's under my name. It's under his name, but I'm let's say 99.9% beneficiary or something like that. You know. I don't know how it's gonna be, but something like this. Will this work or not?
It's potentially going to work. I think if you get over this idea that 30% is being withheld, it seems like they can send you the money. Once they get your full ID and all that stuff, it seems like they can send you the money directly. Did I misunderstand that?
Something's wrong with the Discord.
Yeah, Tom, something's definitely wrong. You cannot hear Clinton. So, maybe you misunderstood. Let me explain the process clearly. I'm getting a friend to form an LLC with me in the US. He's forming an LLC, getting EIN, forming my LLC with him, bank account for this LLC with his EIN. This LLC with my friend is getting paid whatever my cut is, and then this LLC pays me fully without withholding 30%. And because of his EIN, LLC can be responsible for taxes, but then when I get my EIN formed after 2-3 months, because LLC sent me directly money, I'm responsible for taxes, and nobody withholds anything, and I have my full portion of my cut. I don't need to wait another year to get paid my 25%, which I will still pay, 30%, which I will still pay to taxes. I know, and everything's solved. I get paid in the next week. I still pay taxes. Nobody is under risk. Am I right?
Whether or not you're right, you could ask ChatGPT or a lawyer. We are pretty much experts in the process of wholesaling a deal, not necessarily experts in working around it. So you might be asking the wrong audience and expecting an answer.
Sure, I understand.
You're very persistent. Like, maybe I should change what I'm saying. Let me try a different way. I still want an answer. I'm like, dude, you're asking a rock. Like, hey, how can I get here? And you're asking a rock. A rock doesn't know how to give you here, dude.
It would be easier if you just say it 15 minutes ago, man. My bad.
You said it yourself. I just have to deal with it. You just have to deal with it.
You did
if you
say
try
that.
anything else, no, he said it himself. He just have to deal with it. If you try anything else, USA's government is not really friendly towards trying something else. Sometimes they might flag you as trying to launder money or something. So I would say consult with a legal attorney or the best way to no, not ChatGPT.
Yeah, sure.
And an attorney to figure those things out, so he can abide by the legal standards they have in their country. Because in my country, for the service that I'm doing, I don't have to pay taxes for that. I know it's weird for that I have to pay taxes for their country where I'm not a resident, but if that's the rule they have, we have to abide by that rule.
Couldn't say it any better.
Damn it. Okay.
Yeah, like we all said, man. I know it's frustrating. This is it's like,
because
in
it's
fact,
weird
if you look it up,
we have to pay taxes
YouTube,
for that.
You will find like I don't have an example right now because I don't save this stuff, but I've seen it. Right, somebody's like, "Mom, I just got my first check," and the person's all excited, and then they start crying like, "Wait, they took taxes out! Oh my God, Mom!" Like, yep. Welcome to the club. Funny as heck. Watch
Welcome
it.
to the adulthood.
Yes, sir. You bust your butt. You think you're making some money, and the government takes half or a third or some number. That's all they tell you, dude.
Well, it's 15% here.
Yeah. If you
It's 12 here, and I would be great with 12. Now
if you're doing any online
fucking
service,
30.
if you're doing any online service, it's 0.
Yeah, whatever, like freelance.
Yeah,
we had 1%, but now it's
they're
12.
They're different legal. Literally, whatever that percentage is, it's in the law. So you don't like it, change the law. Become a billionaire and change the law, dude. Let's do
Fuck
it.
this law.
Let's do it. Become a billionaire and change the law. Let's do it. That's usually how you become, how you change a law anyway, is you become a billionaire and then you help a bunch of your friends get elected, and then those friends, not political advice, but that seems to be the way that laws get changed in one's favor.
Clinton, come on, don't spill the secret out. Trump might get angry.
This show is all about secrets.
You secretly want to be billionaires to change the law, or what's up? I don't understand.
Don't spill the beans. Trump might get
wholesaling
angry.
is just a side hustle? What's up?
Well, wholesaling is a side hustle, but the thing is, what seems to happen, and again, not any kind of advice. Literally, I have a statement in a video telling you not any kind of advice of any shape or form. But it seems like if I do become a billionaire, I might start acting like those billionaires and be like, "Yeah, the law works. Leave it as is." Who knows? Who knows? We'll see.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for your time, guys.
No worries.
I'll try
Awesome time, right?
try something.
Kept it lively. All right, so what happened in the meantime, I did make a few more calls, and folks did not pick up, and I made some notes, but all good, all good. Awesome find, and this one I called as well. Note. Called multiple times, in fact. Ooh. Y'all trying to sell the property or no? Or maybe you're just sick and tired.
Wait. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. Can I ask last question?
And today's Columbo is brought to you by Alex. What is up, Alex? What's the question?
Okay. That's still about that. That's not about wholesaling. I'm so sorry, man. If my LLC withholding that 30%, can I still use it? Can I still send it to my personal account or not?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm in a shitty situation, but thank you. That was my last
You have
question.
to understand the reason why they're keeping it, just so even if you maybe die or maybe you run away, they can still keep that.
Yeah, reasonable. Okay, thank you.
Clinton, where's your funny voices or funny, what's it? I'm forgetting English word.
Sound effects and whatnot.
Sound effects, right? Where are they? You aren't using them, man. Come on.
That's the thing. I said it earlier. You might have been on a call at the time, but it's not set up. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed. As always, I dropped some hints. I dropped some secrets and whatnot on this live, and I wasn't really able to highlight them the way I really wanted to, the way I really will in the future when I become a billionaire. But all good.
No, you just have to improve your communication skills. I told you to look at the video. You never paid attention. Now I get to say I told you so.
I looked at the video. It helped me to do things like this, like change my voice a little bit, go a little bit higher, a little bit lower. Oh, you know what? Yeah. In fact, that might have been where Megaplex Man came from.
Wait, really?
I don't know. Because it was just a lot of things coming together. It was like I was focused on Megaplexes at the time, and Megaplex Man was just, in there somewhere coming out. It was like Megaplex, man. I was like, whoa.
Hey, you're gonna alert the feds or the authority.
Exactly. Love the authorities. All right, yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much. We're pretty much at the end. We've got a whole crew in here. Hopefully, we had some fun. Let me know if you have other things you want to deal with, you want to talk about. Like I said, we're looking for a property in North Phoenix. If you can find a property in North Phoenix and get it under contract, that's seller financing less than $20,000 down, you got a deal, my friend. Find us a deal and we can get it. We literally have a buyer that we're looking for that deal right now. We have a similar thing in Kansas City, in the, I want to say the southeast of Kansas City. Similar thing, but that one I'm not so sure of yet. That buyer I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, just to reiterate, we went through. Took a while to get through this, but we went through looking at a mortgage statement, enter it manually into the wholesaleatlas.com/template. Did some stuff, had some fun on here with Alex, Mr. Colombo, who was very, very animated about some issues he's having getting paid. But congratulations, dude. You closed a deal and now people owe you money for once. Congratulations, man. Be happy. Be happy. I know it sucks. I know the government's going to take their cut. But guess what? The two things I'm sure of is how they say it. The two things in this world you cannot escape: death and taxes. And I'm not so sure about death. All right, so here's a question.
And that's cut.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was being a director. I thought you were done.
Yeah, you're saying, yeah, on that note, let's cut it. Yeah, that's perfect. Not really sure. Taxes are 100%. Death, I'm not so sure about. Not so sure about death. But taxes, yeah. You can be dead and still owe taxes. So
yeah,
taxes I'm pretty sure about. All right, want to be with that deal in terms of numbers in order for you to be for sure the buyer. Well, I mentioned, here's a question. I talked with Jorge, we went through that deal. What would I like to be? Ideally, as low as possible. For me to buy this deal, I would say if my total entry is the 12,000 that we talked about, yeah, I'm probably a yes if it's under 12,000. But remember, I really want the opportunity to pay someone a bunch of money over time. Because what it's gonna do is gonna solidify my point. Like, if I'm not greedy, right? If I can share some of this wealth over time with my end seller, right? With my seller and my agent, instead of them getting 3%, they end up getting 6 or even 12% potentially, right? If I'm not greedy with my wholesaler, I'm like, I'm only going to give you 3%. I'm only going to give you 3K or 5K or whatever. I'm like, you know what? Even on a 100K deal, I'm willing to give away 12,000, right? Then yeah, it'd be awesome. It'd be an awesome example. So ideally, everybody just gets equity. Ideally, and then a few years go by, and we sell the property, and everybody gets a huge amount of money from that equity. That would be the ideal scenario. But yeah, if it's under, let's say if it's under 10K entry, then it's almost a yes for me. And the reason that is, what happens, I'm going to create another slide that shows it really clearly. The reason that is all this money that's going to happen potentially on the exit, instead of these people getting this money, right? Instead of the owner, this is the problem, I think, with the general traditional subject to. Instead of the owner getting part of that equity, they already went through the trouble of getting the property, went through the trouble of getting a loan, went through the trouble of everything, keeping the property maintained and all of that stuff. And then they have to sell it. It sucks. They have to sell it, whatever reason they have to sell it, and they have to walk away with nothing in hand. That sucks. I really dislike that. So, the way that I do it, they actually get paid. We become joint venture partners on the property. The property just happens to be the asset. We are partners, and everybody gets paid when we sell the property. I really like to show that this works. I already have an example of it now, but I want an even better example. One with a lower entry. The one I have now is, I think the entry on it was 35K. I want one that's, less than 10K, where everybody, that one, some people got money up front. My goal is to get one or a few of them where everybody gets equity and we can show people. And like I said, I'm going to show another slide. Now, how does this generally work? Instead of the owner getting, in this case, right, it was a $100,000 property, and the owner would have walked away not having to pay $1,000. Okay, yay! You don't have to pay $1,000. Congratulations. Walk away slowly. Okay, great. But instead of that, I would love for them to actually walk away with 8K, maybe even 16K. But what happens is, the way this usually works, they walk away with nothing, and that 16K they would have gotten had they teamed up with me, that goes to the buyer. That's why this is such an awesome way to buy a property, right? The agent, they got 3K. I want my 3K. I want my 3%. It's really important. 3%. It can't be 2.5. Can't be, whatever. They want 5, but I'm not going to give you more than 3% if you want it up front. Fine. They got it. But guess what? That extra amount that would have accumulated, that also goes to the buyer. Same thing. I want my 10,000. I want my 5,000 up front. Okay, cool. You got it. That extra money you would have gotten, that goes to the buyer. All of this money accumulates in the buyer's pocket. I don't need it. Let's say in 7 years, all that money, 80K, I don't necessarily need it in my pocket. Happy to share it. Happy to become a billionaire the way I do things and make a bunch of other billionaires along the way as well. Happy to do it. So that's what I'm trying to prove. So to your point, Mr. Jorge, if all of these folks want a joint venture, if they want cash up front, fine. You don't want money over time, fine. But ideally, I want this kind of property. Let's try to find one like this where everybody gets equity. And like I said, I'm going to create another slide that shows those numbers even better. One of the million things I've got to do, got to get my sound effects up. I've got to finish this slide thing. I've got to get some more deals. I'm hiding the point. At the end of the show, I'm telling everybody, for everybody who's still here, guess what? I opened title again today on a different property, the one that I signed last week. So yeah, now I have to send EMD, and it's a really, really good deal for all involved. Really good deal. So literally, these are the things that keep me busy and unable to do the other things that I really should be doing. It's all good. Let's say a year from now, all of this is going to be great, right? Got to start somewhere. Yep. Under 12. So man. Other questions, other comments? Mr. Tomcat has joined us. He's in the house. Mikey Y, I saw your message there. Hey, Mikey, you buying properties? I hear. Is that right? You buying properties? You've got a buy box. You want to come up on stage and tell us about your buy box? Trish, have you learned anything? Do you have any questions? No, it's not Mike E. It's not Mikey. It's Mike E. Okay, I get it. It's not Mike Y. It's Mike E. One of these days, Mikey. In fact, I'll tell you the same thing, dude. For everybody in here, I've said it before, and I will say it again. For everybody in here, if you can get a property under contract, like a similar one to this, where you're like, oh, I want money as a wholesaler. Why don't we just buy the property together? That's basically what this is. Instead of you getting money up front as a wholesaler, you become part joint venture owner of this property. So you're like, yeah, one of these days, I'd love to own a property. Guess what, dude? We can do it today. Get a property under contract. It's a really good deal. And instead of getting money up front, joint venture with me, and like some other people did about 3 weeks ago. And yeah, you can become a buyer today or tomorrow, whenever you do get that property under contract. Trish is typing. Learning a lot and agree. Much of the process leading to compensation, offer deals that you've made clear comps on, so you can be prepared to talk to your buyer. Interesting. mentioned comps. Well, I'm live now. Not ready to talk about comps, but I don't know if you've seen, and if you're in here more often, you will see. I sort of do this as an onion. I do it as an onion. I basically take a look at, like this was the one I went to Atlas Mode, but you can use Lead Gen as well if you have that, or you could even go to Zillow, right? Let's say I went to Zillow. This is all I found, and this property is up here for $429. It's in a great area. I would have looked at the images. Car out front is gonna have to go, but it's covered. Looks like a Mustang. Is that the profile of a Mustang? Is that a profile of one of the newer cars that Jaguar has created? What you all know? Anybody knows? But anyway, out front, so that car is going to be gone. This property looks good. I'm literally just on Zillow right now, and I said my buy box is North Phoenix. So here's the thing. I have a buyer. So even you, like right now, I know you're learning. Okay? Trish, I know that you're learning, but guess what? If you were to go on Zillow and find even this property, I don't know that I've called them, but click on this property here. It's going to have a phone number and be like, hey, this is my first call. Literally, I'm learning. This is my first call, but I know someone who wants to buy this property. Mr. Raul. ¿Qué pasa, Raul? Okay. If you speak Spanish, even better. ¿Qué pasa contigo? Buen día, my friend. ¿Qué pasa contigo, man? Right? So you call up Raul and be like, hey, I know someone who wants to buy a property in this area, somewhere around 400,000. This is a little bit too expensive for them. But, ooh, this one is a 3-1. I think they want a 3-2. So maybe not this one, but same thing, right? Same idea. Find one that's a 3-2, just like the buy box I said over here. This is a buy box. And, you know, I'm looking for a 3-2, somewhere around $4,000 in North Phoenix. Literally go and look. Heck, if you live in Phoenix, drive around. Find a property that says for sale that's not on market yet. I don't care how you do it. Okay? And tell them that's what I want to do. You know, it's my first call. I don't know what I'm doing, but if you can, if you can potentially get paid over time, then, to sell this property, then it's a deal. They want to buy it. That's it. That's all you got to do. I literally did no comps, right? They have this property listed for $429K. They dropped the price $30K according to this. I literally don't care. I didn't do any comps. Is this property worth $400,000? I don't care. Is it worth $450,000? I don't care. No comps at all. It's just in that general buy box area. And if they're willing to take payments over time for whatever price they do get, then it might be a deal. So you can make that call today, Trish. Not just this property, but any property in this $400,000 range in Northwest Phoenix. Okay, so not just you, but anybody. And if you are not in our Discord, talking to Trish in our Discord, but if you're not in Discord and you happen to be watching on YouTube or something, yeah, by all means, you can literally do the same thing. You can literally do the same thing. Just make the call and then reach out to me. Go to buyboxlive.com and click over here. You should get an email pop up. Send me an email. Reach out to me however you can. I don't care how you get there. Just get here if you can. There's a song that goes like that. Not everyone is interested in seller finance. I agree. Not everyone is interested in seller finance. I know it's a difficult challenge. The thing is, most people, they put their property on that's funny the way how I'm about to say it, but let me say it a different way. They put the property for sale on any of the listing services, right? Almost 100% of them want someone to come along and say, hey, I see your property. They want a millionaire to come along and be like, this property looks awesome. It reminds me of when I was a kid. Unfortunately, that property burnt down. And I see you've got this property listed for $100,000, but because this reminds me of, the property I grew up in, and I really, really want to reproduce that. kind of feeling that I had for my children. So, you know what? I'll give you 500,000 for this property listed for 100,000. That's literally the dream, the wet dream, if you will, of most people putting a property up for sale. Nobody wants to sell a property under seller finance terms. They don't want to, accept. And some people will have a property listed. Some people like, I don't want to quote hold title, hold paper. They will say, I don't want to be like, have somebody paying me over. No, I don't want any of that stuff. I just want $100,000, whatever that number is, right? And nobody wants to give them $100,000. But guess what? Because that's what they want, they will keep it at that price on market for 3 years or 2 years. They don't care if somebody comes along and be like, hey, this property has been on sale for a year already. How about I give you $110,000? I'll give you $110,000. All you have to do is let me buy it over the next 5 years. And they're like, no, I want cash. Okay, but nobody's giving you cash. It's been a year. So yeah, people don't want any kind of financing on the property. A lot of people, they just want cash. That's what you will run into. But some people, like the mortgage situation I just showed you, some people, they have a property, and I know this because I made these calls, right? You can make the call and find out. And somebody will say, yep, they just want cash. They're not interested. They don't care. Okay, cool. Make another call. Yep, they might be interested. And you talk about, oh, you know what? They're not really interested. Fine. You keep making calls, and somebody will say, yeah, they bought the property for their daughter. She didn't really want the property. She actually moved away. She moved to a different country. And now I have this property that I bought. I own it, and it's just sitting there. I'm just paying taxes and insurance on it. I'm literally, I don't even want renters. I don't want any of that stuff. It's just sitting there like, oh, okay, cool. Can I pay you over time for this? I don't care. Just whatever. Give me $1,000, and every month you can send me $100. I don't care. That person exists. How do I know? I've spoken to people like that. You can make the call and talk to someone like that too. Got to warm them up. Trying to convince a seller of a commercial property for $1.2 million to do seller financing. Got to warm them up. Okay, so that's a good point. Let me say this though. When you get to, let's say you find a perfect seller finance deal, or even subject to deal. Perfect. Zero down. They want no money down. They just want some money per month. They want no money down at all. It might look like a great deal. But if it's a $5 million property, even I'm just going to be like, nope, not interested. I know it's zero down. I know my buy box says 12,000. But yeah, I would rather deal with a single family home than a multi-million-dollar property, even with 0% down. The reason for that is, and that's why a buy box is important, buy box live. The reason for that is, if I go and I get a tenant in this property somehow, if I'm successful in getting a tenant in this property and they're giving me enough money to pay the seller over time, that's great for a month or two. But if that person walks away, where am I going to get another tenant willing to pay that money per month? And I'm on the hook for this property, right? I've told this guy, yeah, I'm going to, or lady, right? It's a $1 million property. I'm going to give you, $5,000 per month. I know it's $1 million property. I'm giving you $5,000 per month. Yeah, I can do that because someone's renting it for $6,000 or $8,000 a month. Yay! Then that person walks away. Where am I going to find the next person willing to give me $8,000 a month? So that makes it very difficult. And that's just for me. I think for anyone. So that's very challenging, I think, when you deal with numbers that high. I think you find a similar thing for cash. Someone's got a $6 million deal. My friend has left the stage and the live, but had a $6 million deal. The property appraised for $6 million, and they were willing to accept half in cash. They were like, you know what? If you give me half in cash, fine, we'll sell. Great deal. My guy was going to make a lot of money. I won't say exactly how much. He was going to make a ton of money. It was a great deal. Same problem. You only have a few buyers willing to deal with this kind of property. And they would have to buy the property and we sell the property for the actual appraised value and make millions of dollars. But that deal fell through. It fell through because you only have a few people willing to deal with those kinds of headaches that come along with a property like that. So those numbers, those very high expensive numbers, I think are very challenging. You can always look, you can do it, you can make a lot of money doing it, but I think it's a very challenging world when you deal with $1 million properties. So fine. But the skills that you develop, you could potentially do the same thing because it's the same deal. You got a property, there is no mortgage on this property. Can I buy this property by paying you the equity over time? How much can I pay you? Do you want, $10,000? Yeah, everybody wants 10,000. Can I give you 2,000? Can I give you 1,000? Can I give you $100 per month? Right? You can do that because there is no mortgage in place. If there is a mortgage in place, then you can't give them less than the mortgage. You at least have to pay the mortgage, whatever that number is. So to me, subject to can be very challenging finding the best deal. Seller financing is challenging because the person currently has no debts. They have no mortgage on the property, and they probably don't want to deal with mortgages at all. Anyway, off my soapbox, let me say what's up to LeBron is in the house. Not the LeBron, it would be awesome if he showed up. Be awesome if he endorsed my show on YouTube, youtube.com. Search for those people who use search engines, search on YouTube for Buy Box Live. So that's awesome. You can do it that way. What else? Cool. Anything else, folks? Just interacted with Trish. Great ideas there. Great comments. And not the Mike E. Dave sent me a message. Let me go and find out what Dave is talking about. Pulling leads, autopilot. That's so funny. I appreciate it. Anytime somebody comes to me and they're like, "Hey, I've got leads," and I'm like, "Dude, I've got the wholesaleatlas.com. I literally have all the leads I need." That's not the challenge. That is not the challenge. You have been invited. You have been summoned to the stage, Mr. Dave. Tell me about these leads that I can't find in the Wholesale Atlas. Brockton, Mass. I know some people in Brockton. So what else? What else is new? Oh, you know what? Last time I checked, this was 57. The number has flipped, and it's now 75. So, Mr. Dave, wait, you're not coming on stage? Oh, you're on stage, but you're muted. I can't hear you. Dave, tell me about this idea that you've got leads that I can get.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, actually.
Sure.
So, never knew you also into lead generation, but basically kind of simplify the process. I'm not here to pitch a sale you get. So
sure.
Basically,
now, when you say simplify the process, what does that mean? What process?
I think in this simplification aspect, it just got to do with automation. You're not sitting on a desk and trying to manually find your next set of customers. So what I do is to automate the whole process and filter these leads you get into not just any kind of random set of Google Sheets or something, bring out quality people. I mean, that has the capacity to purchasing whatever
Okay.
we're pitching
Okay.
to them right away.
So let me ask you this. Maybe it's important. Sometimes it's really, really important when anybody is trying to sell something. It is important to understand, what your buyer wants to buy. Okay, or understand their target
Yep.
customer or something. So in this case, you're talking about leads. You're talking about a process, etc. To me, when you're talking about leads, I'm talking about, hey, let's find me a property. Oh, let's find a property. This is a solar finance deal, right? I can literally underwrite this deal by clicking this button and decide if I want to call this property or not. If it's going to be a good deal for me in Decatur, Georgia. I really like Decatur, Georgia, actually, right? Potentially. Same thing, right? These other places. So I guess something told me about Decatur, Georgia, right? All these different properties in Decatur, Georgia. If I happen to be interested in a $1.15 million property in Decatur, Georgia, and have my buddy Trish purchase, try to get this property for seller finance, right? So I've got all of these deals or leads at my disposal. I don't know if each of them is a deal yet, but it's a lead. So from your perspective, what kind of, I understand you can automate it for me. I already have automation, but what kind of lead would I need in my business that you might potentially automate for me?
Okay, I got that. Now, basically, I mean, not everybody, let's say, who indicates an interest in a property or in a particular product eventually gets to the stage of purchasing them. Okay, so the kind of leads I would suggest are, let's say, people who are already um, researching or reaching out to these products, maybe to you, maybe not
Yep.
to you, but we find people based on, let's say, social media behaviors, probably might have been searching for a particular property in a particular location. You know that these individuals are already problem aware. They have something they need, and they know that they need this product, and they're into the search of how they could get that product. And something else which is very important is purchase capacity. Those who have the capacity to buy that product which we are selling to them. So, I mean, no longer a generic audience type here. Yeah, you know, leveling down and you're bringing in leads that are qualified and people who are actually problem aware, who have the product in mind and are constantly reaching out,
Okay.
trying to
All
see
right.
how they get the product.
Awesome. So thank you for that. So based on what I'm hearing, and this is Buy Box Live. So in this case, you're sort of coming in on the opposite end, right? Here, I'm looking for properties that I could get under contract and buy myself because I'm a buyer.
Mm.
And it sounds like the kinds of leads that you're talking about are someone who, because obviously we all have access to Zillow, and Zillow's, even Zillow's got like millions of properties, much more than 75,000, right? So Zillow's got millions of properties that I can simply find. But I think it sounds like, especially for Buy Box Live, you're speaking more towards, hey, if I was to get one of these properties under contract in Decatur, Georgia, and then instead of me purchasing this property myself, which I really, really, really want to, but for whatever reason, I'm like, yeah, you know what? This particular property, yeah, I have too many. I'll just go ahead and wholesale this property. Then the kind of lead that I would care about that you could potentially help me get is someone who is also a buyer who wants to buy a property in Decatur, Georgia, because according to their search pattern, they've been searching for a property to buy in Decatur, Georgia for whatever reason. And then also checking to make sure that they can afford it. So they are an actual end buyer and they are maybe a millionaire and they can potentially pick up a $300,000 house if I got it under contract for, I don't know, $250,000. That's what it sounds like you're telling me. Is that right?
Absolutely. I mean, I wasn't meant to come to pitch something, but
No, no, it's
called me.
fine. Like literally, you made the point. So I'm curious, and as they say, the curious will win, right? That's I think that it's the people who remain curious are the ones who continue to make money, and the other ones who are very closed-minded end up never being successful over time, or something like that. So fair enough. So
Okay.
before we continue, let me just say you said a phrase that I've heard before, and although your accent maybe gives it away, you also said something else that to me sort of gives it away. And is it fair to say, sir, that you are from Nigeria?
Absolutely.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. So welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. And I guess the next question I would have would be, all right, if I'm sold on this idea that you can find me buyers and clearly determine among the millions of people who say they are buyers, thousands of people who are actually wholesalers, let's say the hundreds of people who are actual buyers who can potentially buy my properties, for what, sir, do I have to pay for this particular service? How much?
Yeah.
How
I mean,
much?
no. I don't think we should get into that.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
I mean,
what you would do instead? Are you the type then that would show me? You would give me like a demo, and then we would talk about price, and then you would say, okay, how much am I willing to spend, et cetera, and then you would figure out from there how much you want to charge me.
exactly. That's
Okay.
like the pattern I like to show my
Okay.
clients.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate it, sir. You are in the Discord. You are here, and you have given us a lot to think about. So I am not the hardest to work with. I'm very kind. I am very generous. I give away too much. I literally give away too much on a daily basis. I guarantee you that. But all good. Thank you so much for joining us, Dave. Do you have anything else to say? Obviously, you don't have to tell me you appreciate the opportunity to tell everyone here on live and everyone on my show at buyboxlive.com about your services and capabilities. But is there anything else that you would like to say for us before you go?
And apart from again saying I appreciate the opportunity, I mean, it's never too late to say so. I'll just stick around and hear you guys. Maybe at the end, if I have a contribution, I would later, but not here to sell a service. Like I said, I love the connections. I love hearing you guys. IJC. So I'm very, very curious to learn from you guys. So that's it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us. And again, I like the people from Nigeria. Abraham, ladies and gentlemen, Abraham has joined us on Buy Box Live. Abraham, how are you doing today?
Oh, hello. This is Abraham. I'm from Egypt, and thank you guys for taking me here.
Awesome. Comes from Egypt. We've got Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, we are super international.
Yeah, I just had a few questions like before because I feel like I'm going back and forth with a few things.
Yep.
So I've been working in the industry since maybe early 2023. Been doing cold calling, been text blasting and all that. But the thing here that when it comes to closing a deal, I got lucky and I closed a deal ready for a client. He's a wholesaler. I don't know if he's here or not, but I don't believe that he's here.
Okay.
So I feel that I'm just going back and forth with the thing with being an acquisition and going to appointment setting again and going for lead management again. So it's really confusing. So you feel what I'm saying?
Okay, so you said acquisitions or lead management, you said?
Yes. So I've been working as appointment setter. And from there, I got transitioned into lead management.
Okay.
So I got lucky when I'm building a relationship with a homeowners that I was talking to.
Yeah.
And I got lucky there, and I almost closed the deal. So I just threw them to the underwriting team so they can close the deal with them. So
Yeah.
it was counted for me, but I just got lucky. That's how it is.
Sure.
There's no inside sales person and got in between, or an acquisition got there to close it. There was no need to do this.
Okay.
So the thing here that I've been into multiple courses. If you're familiar with Jeremy, with the one with the 7th level in APQ sales process.
I'm familiar with it, Jeremy, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the thing that I'm always going back and forth, and there is inconsistency while going through the part of closing the deal or going with the acquisition part.
Wait. Okay. Which one do you prefer? Like, if I was like, okay, that's it. I understand you've been doing both. You can do both. You have this ability. You have this amazing ability to do both. But I'm going to prevent you from doing one going forward. Which one would you be very disappointed if I prevented you from doing that option?
I would say the acquisition part, or the closing part, which is building a relationship, or diving into the situations and the motive and the condition, all that. When you're having a decent conversation with someone and talking money, you can take that part from me. But the other part is like cold calling or reaching on a cold way to someone. Yeah, that's fine. I can disregard this.
Are you all hearing what I'm hearing? I'm hearing quiet, but you all hearing? It literally sounds like you made it.
Can you hear me?
It sounds like you just made a decision. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, Abraham?
Sorry?
Yeah, so you just said that that you could live without cold calling, with like just general acquisition, cold calling people. You could live without that. But once you've got a lead, having that conversation with them and building rapport, it's called, and figuring out the best way to help them and help yourself and help your buyer, help the seller and help the buyer at the same time. It sounds like that is something that you would much more prefer to do. So,
yeah.
Okay. So to me, it sounds like that was the question you were asking me, and you just answered it. So am I wrong? What am I missing?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing here that with that client, so I'm doing this as a full-time job, not as I'm doing it for myself.
Okay.
So the thing here that, so that the kind of a joker that you're on this role, but hey, we need you up there, so you need to move up there. You know what? I know. We can take you to this role back again because we need you there. So this is how the thing is confusing for me.
Okay. So if I was to translate this for what other people have to put up with and have to live with, it sounds like you're saying the challenge you're having there is that because you work for someone else, they are the ones who decide which one of those two you have to do.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's perfectly fine. Guess what? A lot of us are in that situation. It's like, I could be doing all of this stuff on my own. I could be working for myself, setting my own schedule, doing the things that I want to do. I will tell you that not many people can do that. Some people do, but a lot of times it's very difficult to just go off on your own because, hey, it takes a long time to close that deal. Deals fall through all the time. As we heard earlier tonight, hey, I finally closed the deal after months and months and months, but then, trying to get paid is going to be a challenge as well. So everything is very difficult. And in that time, you're going hungry and you need money to eat. You need money for whatever else.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, you're in a situation that a lot of us understand. I don't know
So
that
the
a good answer for that. I would tell you that, one thing that a lot of us do, I won't say we all do it, but a lot of us do, myself included, is we continue to have a full-time job where in that full-time job, we do the things that those people who pay us to do that job, request that we do. We do our best to put all of our energies into it, which makes us very, very tired at the end of the day. But guess what? It's important, right? We do it for them. They like our work ethic. They like what we do. They like our abilities, and they pay us, weekly or monthly, bi-monthly, whatever the number is. So they keep paying us, which is awesome. And then because we're doing that, we now have some extra time at the end of the day, sometimes on the weekends, to moonlight, as they say, like I am doing tonight. Literally, this is after my full-time gig, and I'm on live, and I'm having conversations with you and doing stuff that to me feels like a lot of fun, trying to find deals that I can buy in my personal time. And to be fair, some of these deals that I can buy, the reason I can buy them is because of that full-time job. So, it's okay. You're in good company. You're doing the same as a lot of other people.
Yes, I do know that, but that it's not the current situation because because of this, they have been doing this with a lot of people, and they set high expectations for a lot of clients. They were like a third-party company that taking care of realtors and wholesalers, investors, and all that at the same time. So they were setting high expectations for them. So what they done that they shut down. That's it.
Wow.
And at the yeah, and they haven't paid me yet. It's been like we're talking about 10 days already on the 4th this month. So the thing here that when I'm trying to apply for something else, I don't know where to put myself into. So should I be like applying for a cold caller? Should I be applying for a lead manager, an acquisition? Since I don't have that much experience in being an acquisition, and I do have it into lead management and talking to these people or connecting with them. So that's what I really have an experience into. So I don't know what to put into that resume, so I'm not being sounding like a fraud. So that's the situation, the whole situation.
Yeah, it's a challenging one. And to my point earlier, when I said a lot of people in similar situations, I'll say it's the same. It's the same with this as well. I myself was in a situation where I worked really hard, really long in a company, and eventually that company ran into some issues and did not pay me for a very long period of time. Very, very, very long period of time. These things happen. It happens to all of us, not just you. So, I'm happy to say that, I was able to make the right calls and, maybe the right connections. And at some point I was able to get a new position, So, yeah, and I'll tell you, even in my past, some things have been private, but I can share. There was a point in my life where not this last time, but there was a point in my life where, as a proud software engineer, not developer, but software engineer that can build anything, I can make anything. I just can't make it pretty, I would say. Which is a joke, but it's okay. Now the thing is, although I could do that and I have all these skills, for a while I was out of work. No matter what I did, I literally applied for 100 jobs. No, 300. I remember that number very clearly.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing the past few days.
I applied for 300 jobs, and none of them, not one, did I get. I went on several interviews. I even flew down to Tampa, Florida for one interview. It was very promising. I was like, okay, I'm willing to spend the money that I didn't really have. And I went down to Florida, interviewed, walked away, and they said, oh, sorry, we went a different route. I was like the one of three at the top. And they're like, okay, sorry, we went with a different person. So I was very frustrated over time. Yeah, it can be very frustrating. But there's hope. There's opportunities. Don't give up.
Mhm.
You know,
No,
use the skills that you
I'm not
have
giving
and,
up.
and
I
use
just don't know
use them
where
in
to
different
put it.
ways.
You know, I
Yeah,
just
I
don't
would
wanna.
say, like for you, right? You now, like right now, it's challenging but not painful.
Yeah.
So if you want to avoid the pain that potentially comes if you're sitting around, um, you know, if you want to avoid the pain that potentially comes after that 3 years of sitting around and not having that job, right? Oh, you have $100 in your account, and next week you have 99, and that number keeps going. At some point, it's going to be zero, and then at some point, it's going to be, oh no, you owe money to people, right? Then I would say, if you really, really want to try to avoid that, just go ahead and apply to every single one of them. Use every one of your skills. Update your resume to a point where it has all of the skills you do have, all of the things you've done. Even if you've done it a little bit, you can say, oh, pick one that you haven't done a lot. Let's say it's, I don't remember which one you said, but let's say it's acquisition, right? Okay, I have done some acquisition management. I've, what was it? Lead management, whatever the term was you used, right? Put it on your resume and say, yeah, I don't have too much experience with it, but I've done it. How's that helpful? Well, it shows that if there's someone else who doesn't put that on there and they have exactly the same experience as you in the other thing, well, now you've got that thing plus something, so at least you even to them, you look a little bit better. And then just go ahead and apply to every single one you can. Do it now as much as you can. And instead of 300, apply to 1,000. So that in, let's say, 2 months or, maybe a month or whatever, you have succeeded. Whereas if you hadn't done 1,000, maybe you did, 300 like I did and failed. Maybe you're successful with 1,000. I don't know. Maybe you succeed. Maybe even in, like right now, you're on BuyBox Live, right? You're in our Discord as well.
Mhm.
Maybe you can mention it in here. Hey, I'm really good at cold calling. If somebody, has leads that they need someone to cold call, let me do that. Pay me a little bit per month or per week or whatever, and I'll make some calls and we'll see what happens, right? So there might be people willing to, take your services there, because if somebody's got 1,000 leads, or they've got 75,000 leads, they might actually appreciate someone making that first call. And you have that experience, right? They might pay you a little
Yes.
bit. And then if you say,
Mhm.
okay, but I can do more than that, beyond just making that call, I can have that conversation and see if they're really interested in, I don't know, something like subject to or seller financing. And then I can give you that lead because I called them and you didn't call them and I called them. Well, now that becomes a more valuable lead and you become even more valuable. So you get paid even more for that. So you can do that as well in the Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, Summit. So yeah, beside of this, like I'm not trying to be trying to catch anything or making someone dropping an offer, but Summit already did that. Thank you, Summit. I'm just trying to like get my own business, like a set of a job. I'm not trying to be an employee the rest of my life. I'm 23, too
Yep.
young for most of people, but I'm trying to get ahead of this, and I'm trying to be a CEO of myself.
Yeah. So it's a
So
good
the thing
position.
that the thing that I'm afraid of, like if I'm going to through this process with the wholesaling or real estate, so I'm not in the U.S., so I don't know how would I process this if I want to make deals or throw offers to those homeowners and make deals with them to sell their properties and give you with another partner. I don't know how the process would be working if that got like some legitimate consequences or anything like this. So, it's a little bit frustrating to me out here.
Right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, to refresh about the summary of tonight's live, I know I made a few calls up front, but apparently on tonight's live, it's all about people who live outside the United States trying to wholesale in this business and having challenges. So one thing we would have learned from earlier tonight, it's, man, get your EIN number now so that when you start getting paid, it doesn't take you 3 months to get paid. So if that's one thing you can do, go ahead and apply. You can apply for an EIN or an ITN number, I believe it's called. It's like a personal number that says, hey, I may not have a business right now, but my name is John, or in your case, Abraham, and I eventually want to get paid. So you go and request an ID number from the US government, and the government says, yeah, sure, you can get paid. Tax ID number, I understand that's one term, tax ID number. Some people have, there's some other place that the I comes first for some reason. So sometimes it's written as ITN number, ITN as well. But yeah, TIN is definitely the term. Tax ID number. And your EIN number, which would be your entity ID number. Entity ID number. Don't ask me how I know the word is entity. So yeah, definitely go ahead and try to get that now, because as we heard earlier on this live, and if you weren't here, man, go back and watch the show on YouTube. Yeah, there was some cursing and everything. Dude was not very happy. He's like, I'm supposed to be getting money. Now the government wants 30%. They're withholding 30%. Yeah, sorry. Welcome to the club. Government wants money. Taxes. Taxes. All right, so that would be probably the best solution there. If you live outside the U.S., start now to get your TIN or your EIN. If you already have an LLC or something, apply for that stuff now. And then beyond that, make sure you get a dialer. I live currently outside the United States, but as we all know, doesn't matter. You still have to pay U.S. taxes. So I have an LLC. I have multiple LLCs actually, and multiple EIN numbers and all of that stuff. All that's done. I started that process when I got into this. I was like, wait, this is just math. I can make money. Let's do this. Like, yeah, immediately got that stuff. I have some news I'm going to share at some point. It's not ready yet. It's baking. It's not ready to be pulled out the oven, but sometime soon I will. Yeah, that's what I was talking about for ITIN for international folks. Yeah. So some other stuff that's coming up close, coming soon. It's in the oven. I can smell it, but I'm not able to release it yet. And by the way, the other thing is, as you all know, if you look at my profile, dude, I've got all kinds of websites and stuff that I'm giving away stuff for free. And I'm going to be, on top of the million things I'm trying to do, is I'm going to be trying to consolidate that down to like 1 or 2 websites so that, you can just go one place and get everything. So look for that. Talked about a bunch of different things. All right. Does that sound good, Abraham?
Yep. All good.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you for the time, man.
Yep. No worries. With that, go forward. You've got this deal. Get it closed. Get some money. Some more money. Get paid and pay taxes. If you die, I'm sorry, but you still got to pay taxes. Somebody's still got to pay taxes. Not legal or financial or political advice, but man. Okay, cool. Donna, what's up? Donna, how was your vacation, Donna? I'm going on vacation to the cold north. Wait, what? What are you doing? But it's summertime up there, right? So it should be warm in Saskatchewan or one of those places in the north. Mr. Bigwig is in the house. Donna, how you doing?
Fantastic. Calgary was amazing.
Nice. Calgary. So it wasn't cold, right? It was like San Francisco in the summertime. Like
yeah,
chilly.
I mean it was cold in the morning for sure, but then it brightened up and the sun came out and it was fine.
Cool. Yeah, I was like, yeah, you know what? I lived in Boston for a long time. I lived all over the U.S. Turns out I've lived all over the world actually, but I was in the U.S. I was like, I was in Boston. And one day I was like, you know what? Enough snow. And it snowed one weekend, and the next weekend I was gone. I was like, it was scheduled to snow that next week, and I was like, yep, I'm out. It was November. got on a plane, and I left. I went to a
Can't blame you there.
Yep. Yeah, people going north for vacation.
How was your week then?
My week has been, I want to say up and down, but I literally haven't even thought about what my week has been. I just closed on another deal. Well, not closed, but signed on another deal last week, and just opened up title today.
Excellent.
So yeah, things are moving. Things are moving.
Who's your buyer?
For that one, I'm not 100% sure. It might be me because the entry fee is less than, like, total, like even renovations, everything is less than 20K, I want to say.
Wow.
So I'm like, I really want to buy it. I'm like, should I? Not really sure. So we'll go through the process and potentially wholesale it or buy it. I'm not sure yet.
But your opening title, you're putting in down the EMD?
Yeah, I'm going to put down EMD. It's a good deal. A lot of people are looking at it. Some people say they like it and want it. But my point is, even if it ends up that nobody wants it, I could still buy it.
Where is it?
This one is in St. Louis.
Oh, nice.
This one is in St. Louis. And the funny thing is, I don't remember. I know I was having some audio problems in some of my earlier lives, but I want to say it's one that I did call on live. I called, spoke with the agent, got a yes, got on the contract. Like literally all that stuff unfolded on BuyBox Live. So it's pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yep. So there's that going on, and then obviously Donna is one of my co-investors on one of the other properties that I purchased. I want to say 3 weeks ago, whatever that number was, and yeah, we continue to do some awesome stuff in this group. Together, we are buying properties. So Abraham, I guess that was the other thing I was going to say is if your goal, like you said, is to stop doing this 9 to 5 eventually, and you want to own properties and stuff like that, the way I do it, yeah, you can do it now. You literally, if you get a nice deal for us, you could be part of that deal and become one of the buyers, even without putting in cash. Yeah, hang with us. It's going to be awesome in the next few weeks. As literally, we say that every week, every few weeks. It's like next week it's going to be awesome, and week after that it's more awesome, and it just keeps getting better. So do it. Buy some properties together, ladies and gentlemen. I gave the example. We've got 10 people in here. If 8 of these 10 people in here chose to, let's say 9, if 9 of these 10 people in here, 9 out of 10 people would buy this property with me, that means we're buying this property all in for less than $2,000 each. And if you've never bought a property before, you can say, hey, I own a property now, because you would have bought it with the team, with us. And each of us only had to pay $2,000 on it, right? So, not financial advice. I'm not suggesting you do it. I'm not even asking you to do it. So I'm not even marketing to you. This is not a marketing thing. I'm simply saying that if you are interested, and yeah, you can hit me up, and yeah, we can be part of it. And that's not really the end goal, right? The end goal, let's say we buy this property, and this particular one I'm talking about, I really want to talk. I was talking to, I think it was Jorge, and that deal I think would be under 12K. So my goal is to really find a really, really, really good deal and get in for even less, a whole lot less than that. So we find a bunch of these properties total, individually. We put in maybe 5K and we buy 5 properties. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome, amazing, you know. And obviously, we're looking for good deals. We go through this process. We underwrite. We do all of this stuff. We don't just call every single one. We actually look at the numbers. You know, if I can get a renter in here for X, and my PITI, all the money I pay to keep this property is less than X, this might be a deal. And then we go deeper and make the call, see if they're willing, all that stuff. So if it's not a good deal, I don't want it. If it's not a good deal, and I do want it, like this one in St. Louis, I want it. I really do want it, but okay, if somebody wants to buy it, sure, I'll wholesale it. But if I don't want to buy it, I don't even trouble with it. I really don't. I skip it. I don't want to go to a buyer and be like, hey, this property is not a deal for me. It sucks, but you should buy it. Nope. I don't like that idea. That's not the way I do things. Other people might, but I don't do it that way. My deal is not on the Atlas. Yeah, my deal is on the Atlas. Maybe you can't find it. There's like 3 on the Atlas, 4 or 5 in the Atlas. I'll get it for you. Hold on. Oh, sure. Bring it up. Let's go to Sky. Ladies and gentlemen, theatlas.com is where my deal is located. Theatlas.com. And it's asking me to log in. Why are you asking? Show me. I have to log in. Superman. Megaplex Man. So yeah, there's my deal right here. There's my deal right here. Page Boulevard. 25K total entry. That includes down payments and all that stuff. If I do wholesale it. There you go. I'll drop it in the chat as well for you, Donna. Oh, you asked, is it? Is it on the Atlas? Yeah, it's on the Atlas. Sorry, I thought you said it's not on there. I thought you looked me up. You looked in St. Louis and tried to find one. Like, it's not there. I'm like, cool. So here's the other thing you can do. For the folks who potentially have buyers, I'm going to do another live, not today, because we are literally way over time. We got way over time. But if you want, at some point, I think I'm going to have to refresh this page because it's not 0. At some point, we are going to select area. Oh, I got it. There we go. We are going to do some more lives where I look for a seller, or I should say I look for buyers and call up and find out if they're really, really buyers. And then try to find their buy box and then go looking for a property for them. So let's assume I did that in Denver. Let's say I did that in Denver and I made the calls and I found someone who's interested in buying property. This one is 95K cash. Okay, for this one, 95K cash. Take a look, view the details. And they tell me, yeah, I'm a buyer. This has 13 images. Get it in the grid. Just want to see if this is a fix and flip. So this looks like it's after the flip. Now, I don't know what they blotted out here. What are you hiding? What are you hiding? It's like, okay. So they sort of replaced the toilet seat. And then these other pictures, like, what are you showing me? What are you showing me? That it's got bars on the windows and door? Is that what I'm supposed to see? Am I supposed to see that the roof sort of looks okay? I'm not really sure. So I'm sort of skeptical of a situation like this. I still think it's going to need some work. Maybe there's some hidden stuff that some hidden things that an inspector is going to find out and give us all the gory details. And it's going to say, yeah, this particular property, you buy it for 95K, you still have to put in 15K worth of work because they didn't show me all the pictures. Okay, cool, got it. Okay, so if the person I called is in this general area of Colorado and they are a fix and flipper, yeah, cool. You're looking for a property like this. I found one. Talk to this person who's already on the Atlas. They already have it on a contract for that price and see if the buyer wants to buy it. Same thing. So maybe I said I like deals under 20K. I take a closer look at this. Is it really under 20K? Inside looks good. Outside looks like a tank, but that's okay in this general area where you'd rather be nice and warm than worry about what the outside looks like. Interest rate is really good. Mortgage is not too bad at all. Entry fee, this is an awesome deal. See? This is an awesome, awesome, awesome deal for under 20K. So me as a buyer, man. Find less than 10% down on this deal. Wow. $1,000 a month. I could probably get more than that. And they've already done it. See, Donna, this is why. I get into this. I go to the atlas.com and I'm like, I want to buy it. But the other thing I can do is potentially reach out to the wholesaler. And if I don't buy it, I might know someone who does. I like that deal. Now, this one says under 4K. Sometimes people don't put all the information in. So this might actually turn out to be more than that. In the description. Let's see, sometimes it's in there. Listing agent on MLS. Mortgage balance is relatively high. So this one, I think, makes it very challenging. Okay. Principal and interest is almost $1,700 a month. And the monthly payment is $2,000 a month. So this sort of looks like a hybrid deal. The interest is already high. And so this is just the interest and whatnot. And then taxes, insurance, all that stuff. This comes to $2,000. So it doesn't really matter that the entry fee is less than 10K, right? Entry fee is $4,000. But then who am I going to get? Maybe in Colorado, it's okay. Maybe in Colorado, this property might get me, $3,000. Maybe. Potential. It's potential. But I don't really want to go through that headache. So for that reason, I think I'm going to skip that $4,000 entry one. Today I'll say that. Next week, who knows? But I really like this 20,000 entry one. If I could get it for less, even better. But yeah, this one over here is kind of hard. Anyway, there you have it. Oh, you know what? I should double check. So the monthly, yeah, definitely stuck at just over $1,000 is the month. So there you have it. What else? What else is new? What is up, folks? I'm just hanging around. You need sleep. We all need sleep. You need sleep. I need sleep. We all need sleep. Sleep. What up, folks? I really need to close this live. This is going. What's going on? Let me know. Do you have anything else? You don't have anything else. I know we have a huge audience here still, which is awesome. Folks are listening in, having some entertainment. Tonight was fun. Today was fun. But yeah, I need sleep too. I need sleep too. You got any other questions? Nothing else? We've been all over the map tonight. It's been a long live. But for that, thanks so much. Oh. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on BuyBox Live. We've had an extended conversation. Hopefully our audio is good. And join us again next time on BuyBox Live, ladies and gentlemen. BuyBoxLive.com.